Hey, welcome back to 50 Shades of Maintenance. This is our special June edition, and you'll see we're lacking some people. We're dropping like flies.
But you
Flies on a
also
hot
know,
summer day.
you have to note though, the two control freaks are on, so we started at 7 o'clock exactly on the dot. So
And I was messaging you like at like 6:30. Oh, hey, Phil, you're closed, right? Because like no pressure, no pressure. But you're going to set us up, right? The control freaks are here.
yes.
So I don't know if everybody like because our last show was we had so many technical difficulties. I don't know if everybody really caught that TJ's not going to be on the show anymore. I think probably most people picked it up either from Facebook or maybe from Decipher and some of the last show. But I took those shows and made them unlisted because to me they were just unwatchable. The technical difficulties were horrible.
Horrible.
Yeah. So TJ is not with us anymore, but he's with us in spirit. But
He didn't die. He's making it sound like he died. He did not die.
no, he didn't die. He just died in the WLS community.
Well, the WLS community is dead to him. That's the difference.
Well, that's okay. That's a better explanation. Right? And Kirk is just running late. Kirk has not left us. He's just running late, so he'll be joining us whenever he gets home. So it seems like it's been a rough. Summer's supposed to be relaxing, right?
No, yeah, apparently somebody didn't get a fucking memo because it has not been easy at all. It's been horrible.
Not so much. I am so exhausted. I had I don't know, filled day today. So, and I was wiped out by the end of the day. So I'm just like, I'm sipping my tea. If I drank alcohol, I probably would have fallen asleep by the end of the show. So I have my iced tea and I'm ready to.
A couple of tranquilized animals. Yeah. Oh God, it's been like that for me too. It's been so in typical fashion, and so I'm always trying to still probably be a people pleaser and kind of going above and beyond in certain scenarios. So at work, I've never run more than 2 projects consecutively. So I knew that another one was going to be ramping up as one ramped down. So I picked that one up. And then they said, oh, could you please help out with this 4th one? I said, well, okay, but it's on my schedule. So, okay, no problem. Yeah, right. So as soon as I started it, I was screwed. That was it. They're like, you started it, you got to finish it. So
it's a problem, but I won't tell you it's a problem. I'll just stress about it.
I'll take you're deep in it, and I'll freaking send in the alligators. But so it's been 4 projects. We've been converting over from Primavera, which is as a project tool, to Microsoft Project, which should be fine. Microsoft Project's pretty simple, but the conversion has not gone smoothly. There's problems with all kinds of the data in the database, and it's just been murder. And every day, it's like I just don't want to do it, and I have to go in and do it for 4 projects. So. Oh, it's bad. But I feel the same way. And then I get home and I'm like, I should go do something fun. No.
Yeah.
I have to, that's right. I have no money and I have no, the house isn't sold yet. So.
And I'm too mentally drained for fun. I just need to veg. And, yeah.
Can't do this anymore. It's not pretty. But so we wanted to get together and do a show, one a month for across the summer, just because a complete hiatus seems like it might be a bit much. But we were talking kind of offline because, it's funny. I didn't talk to Tanya for days and days. I'm like, oh my God, it's like I haven't seen you in forever. What's going on? And then Kirk's been kind of hit or miss. And then TJ, I've been touching base with just, off to the side because he's no longer with us in the community. But he's been busy. So I haven't really talked to him much. He's been getting ready to pump up though. So he's been lifting weight.
Said he's been lifting weight. So I don't know. We'll see. We might get a picture in a few months. Like we'll even recognize him. I don't know. He's going to look like the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. He'll have Pete in one arm and me in the other and be like, so we thought we'd come back and we were talking about some of the frustrations I think I've been having. And it seemed like as I get closer to the 2-year mark, I'm thinking more and more about this, but a metric for success. What is success? How is success? How do you measure it? At what point does the scale become not the tool? Body fat maybe is the wrong tool. Is it your clothing? Is it your so we're going to talk about try and talk about those topics tonight. And then Kirk can join us and we'll kind of get his take on this. But I'm coming up on 2 years in July, so I'm getting ready to do my month 23 next week. And a lot of this has been going through my head. I've been having some struggles getting to the gym last few weeks, although this week I've been pretty much every day. Good there this week, but I'm just struggling with my success. Tanya and I were talking before we came on, like, I feel like I'm having like a fat week. Like I feel overweight. I feel big. And the weird thing is I'm getting these weird, like when I start getting lean, when I start losing body fat, you'll see like right there, you can see like the little fold of skin there. And I notice all my skin's just looser in general. Like I just don't have the volume to fill out the skin anymore. I'm really weird. I'll be laying down in bed and I can feel the looseness of my skin on my scalp, which is weird. And then I was telling Tanya, as I was standing up the other day, I felt something behind my leg, and I was like, "What the fuck? Oh my god, there's loose skin back there too." So
yeah, like, you think like when did that happen? Like, has it always been like that, or is this a recent discovery? Right. I don't know. That's
so my great another thing to obsess about. So even at bouncing between 214 and 211, I keep bouncing back and forth. Right now, this morning I was 213. That technically is up from my last weigh-in, but I feel leaner skin-wise and yet fat just because of that loose skin feeling. Yeah,
it's the loose skin feeling because you feel like it's not tight. You feel like it's not fit. So then in your brain, like you equate that to fat, which is not. It's just, I don't know. It is a weird thing. And you know what, too? I was thinking, like I think I hit goal like within like, I don't know, 9 or 10 months. And then I maintained for like another like 15 or 16 months before I had my first tummy tuck surgery. And in that year, my body still shifted. Like even though my weight stayed the same, I definitely like I always took monthly pictures, and you could see. And I think it's like from the working out and things like that, your body still shifts even though you're not losing weight. So that you could just be having something going on too with that, with like your body starting to settle into, where the fat's going to spread out to that's left and that kind of thing. And then you probably still build a muscle because I know you're always working out. So it just, I don't know. The body's weird how it keeps changing.
Yeah. And I think the scale is notoriously a bad measurement of success now, because really I do feel like I'm at the point where I don't know what a gain is. Is a gain of 2 pounds in 3 weeks because I worked out harder? Is it because I ate like shit? Is it because now I'll automatically assume I ate like shit, right? Even if I go back and look at my schedule, I'll just assume it's because I'm a fat kid and I'm stupid and I ate crappy. And I had that donut that one day. I had that quarter of a donut one day, and it must be what caused me to gain 2 pounds, over 3 weeks. But logically, I know that's not right. So, but that doesn't stop the whole emotional script from running, if you will.
Yes. Yeah. You got to beat yourself up a little bit because obviously I have to be making a mistake if something's not right. Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Then, like if you have a couple bad days in the gym, you're like, oh my God, is it because I put on some weight and I'm just having a hard time pushing heavier weights? Why is my energy low or my vitamins off, whatever. So then you've got, so you've got blood panels. Blood panels are great for telling you where your body chemistry is at, but I only do those about every 6 months now. 1 year, 6 months. I think I'll be out the 1 year now. I'll just do it as an annual physical, just because my last blood panels were just, amazing. They're like textbook amazing. I mean, my GP and I'm so upset about this too, if you'll allow me to digress. My GP is retiring. She has retired. And she's the one that started working with me 3 years before surgery to really try and, okay, let's try this. Let's try that. Let's try eating this. Let's try working out this way. And she really took the time to listen. She's a nurse practitioner. So big shocker. Yeah. She actually listens.
Yeah.
If you want a good doctor, get a nurse practitioner. Really took the time, first person to really take the time, listen, do the blood panels, do the tests, really do some deep blood tests. She did a big panel for me, even back before I had weight loss surgery. Then when we got ready for weight loss surgery, we were meeting every month like clockwork. And so I accredit, she's been like my #1 champion in this whole process. And then next to that would be my nutritionist after surgery. Julie is awesome. I still see her to this day, but she's part therapist at this point. But yeah, so that's been going on. My blood panels were great, right? So you got blood panels, you got body scales, you got body fat measurements, you got clothing, you got physical fitness levels. I mean, how, for somebody who's further out, did you ever get to the point where you figured out what your success measure was going to be? Or
well, I stepped away from the scale. I probably haven't even weighed myself in about 2 months. And I know, I've been up since I think I had like the regain phase, at about the 3-year mark, and I'm almost like, I'm over 3.5 years out. So at that point, like I knew like I couldn't look at the scale because that was just messing with me too much. And I had the same thing, like when my blood work was fine, I went through a whole thing. Like the way you are with your GP is kind of how I was with my OBGYN, because I had all those hormone issues early on and it lasted for so long. And she kept saying, Tanya, your body's in shock. Your body's in shock. Just don't worry about it. And she was really good about retesting. And yeah, the thing, it's all a little bit out of whack, but it's okay. You don't need to go on medication yet. And then when everything kind of fell into place, she was the one who was like, yeah, that's what I figured would happen. Your body just took a little bit longer than most people's to kind of click back in. But so I definitely go by like my blood. And then I go by my clothes. If I know I still like feel good in my clothes and I feel like I look good in my clothes, when I don't feel like I look good in my clothes, that's when I kind of get that sinking feeling like I need to do something. I need to reel something back in. And then I try and think back to how I used to eat before surgery, which is sometimes hard. I kind of wish I had videos from like way pre-op to like remind myself like, I used to eat a lot and not the good things. So I know there's core things in my life that I've changed. And so I try to take pride in that, like how I eat low carb now, and my routines that I have in place with taking my vitamins and drinking my water and, I know I always have protein. I don't count anything anymore, but I know because it's part of my routine. I know I get my protein in. And so I think I try to measure my success with, knowing that I'm living by the good routine. But I don't always, I still struggle with beating myself up over bad choices or bad choices that are too often. Cause everybody makes bad choices, but like, if I feel like it's like getting to be like an everyday thing, I'll beat myself up about that. But for the most part, when I start to do that, I'll stop and think, Tanya, have you changed your wardrobe? No, I'm still wearing stuff that I bought 2-3 years ago. So I can't be a failure if I'm still wearing the same clothes. It's in my head, but I have to talk myself through that sometimes,
No, so in here to make things worse, I was saying, well, clothing, I'll just use clothing. Clothing doesn't change, blah, 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 but it's summer. So I switched back to my summer clothes. So they feel and fit differently, obviously, than my winter clothes. So my 501s fit a certain way. My blue jean shorts fit different than my khaki shorts, fit different than the gray shorts I got from Gooch, back in Tampa, which are actually kind of big, even though they're 34s, they're big around the waist. That particular brand was a little big, I guess. So I'm struggling with that. So I'm like, well, maybe I should just wear my normal clothes until I get out of this funk, to kind of see where I'm at. I don't really wear a belt anymore because I have hip bones. So why bother? I don't bother anymore. So I can't really use a belt as the gauge. And then when I got the 50 Shades of Maintenance shirts, they're great. But I noticed because of that loose skin kind of popping up over the top of my waistband around the midsection, because it's not now, it's more coming over the top. I was like, whoa, crap. It's kind of a little too tight in the middle there. So I adjusted things around. It was fine. But it's just been a struggle lately as far as just image. I don't have a good image of what I look like to other people. I never saw myself as big as I was, and I never saw myself as small as I was. You know what I mean? I saw myself in between somewhere.
Oh, I was definitely the exact same way. Have you been taking pictures of yourself?
No, I thought for my 2-year I was going to do another. I talked with you a little bit about this, but I think I'm going to do another boxer brief pick next to my goal pick, and now because I know I'm stronger, right? So, and we'll talk about how I know that in a second and why I think there's some value to that too. But I want to see if there's a physical difference, like picture wise. And then so in that series of 360, 260, 210, to whatever the hell I am now. I started this year. My maintenance year, I actually started in July. After I got to 210, I popped back up to 214 almost immediately. I think that 210 was a false goal, but that's fine. I hit it. I call it. So even then, my body was set pointing around 214. I got down to the lowest from July to July. So the lowest in that time frame, I was at 202, and I got back in October when I got back from Australia. I hadn't been working out in Australia. We just were doing normal activities, running around, traveling, could dehydrate you and stuff. So I was 202 for a while. Then I kind of set it about 207 for 5, 6 weeks, and then I started popping up as I was working out again. I kind of came back up again. So back to 214, 213-ish. I kind of flop between 212 and 214 now, which is not I mean, if you told me 5 years ago you're going to be 214 someday, I'd be like, you're out of your freaking mind, you know?
Exactly.
So I don't know what I'm bitching about. Oh, 214, I'm a freaking pig, you know? Like, I mean, come on. So I think there's a part of me that wants to prove I could get back down under 210 if I wanted to. And I've been trying to drive towards that, but my body's just like not having it at all.
Yeah. I went through that. I definitely went through that. And I would push it, and I would try and, not liquid diet, but like I'm going to do shakes for a couple of meals, and then I'll just have a lean and green for dinner. And then I thought, you know what? And I've told, somebody was asking me this a few weeks ago, like, what would you do? And I'm like, don't do anything that you can't live with forever, because it's just going to be a false reading. It's only going to last for a few days, maybe a few weeks, but you're not going to be able to maintain it forever. And then it just gives you another cycle of beating yourself up over a failure, which isn't even really a failure. It's something that was never going to last anyway, So like, I feel like I got past the hump where I would beat myself up about that. And I just decided, if I know I'm eating the best, way I can most of the time, maybe 80%, maybe not even 80%. But like, if I know my breakfast, lunch, and dinner is usually all about the same snacks, and everything throughout the day, it's my nighttime eating that I can either get a control of or not. But if I know I'm doing the right thing most of the time, and exercising, which I'll have to talk about that after, but if I know I'm exercising and I know my labs are right, then that's right. And you kind of have to accept where your body falls. Like, I knew I had to accept I wasn't going to be like a skinny mini bony person. That's just not who I am. And I'm fine with that. But I see so many people out there who aren't fine with that, and they try and fight it. And it's like, you're going to make yourself emotionally miserable forever until you accept that that's just not your body type. It's okay. And that's okay. Like, that is okay. Yeah. My biggest struggle right now is with my exercise. Like, every time I try and get back into like my speed walking that I do, my arthritis has been flaring up. So that really screws with me too, because, I think we talked about this with like, am I using that as a crutch? Is it an excuse? Or is it real? And like, it's like, I know it's real. Obviously it's real. I mean, you can look at me and see like my joints swell. It's like really crazy. But then like, I'm so afraid of falling back on using that as a reason to not exercise that I scare myself with that a little bit sometimes. So I feel like I'm always trying to give myself a reality check. So then I'll push myself again, like, okay, I'm starting over again, and I'm gonna start my walking program again. And I feel great when I do it, and like mentally it really makes me feel good. But then 2 days later I'm flared again. So that is a total mind fuck right there. So, and what burns me up about that is like, you have so many people who don't want to exercise. They don't have any desire to. And when you have somebody like me who I had the desire to push myself to do a little bit more, I wish I could run. I so wish I could run, but I hate it. It doesn't feel good. I so hate it. Like, I look awkward when I try and do it, but I look at other people jogging and I'm like, that looks so freeing. That looks so like, I don't know, like winding your hair and, clearing your mind. And when I do it, I'm like dying. I feel like I'm dying. Yeah. Winded my hair.
By the way, let's talk about real quick. We have to segue. How hot is her hair dark? Holy shit.
Me?
Yeah. I saw your picture. I'm like, uh-oh, that's bad. I have bad thoughts and feelings about that.
Well, it's funny. I can't remember. You know how you get those things that pop up in your time feed on Facebook? And some picture had popped up one day as like, I don't know, 2 years ago, whatever. And I was like, oh, I kind of miss my dark hair. Like, I kind of forgotten that I had dark hair like that. And I was like, you know what? Just like on a whim, I'm like, I'm changing my hair back to my dark color. And when I did it, I was like, I breathed. I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I liked my lighter hair, but I'm like, this is me again. Like, I forgot how much I love my dark hair. So thank you, Phil.
This is hot.
Yeah.
It's hot. Yeah. And maybe this is the same for you. So like, when life's so out of control, I'm trying to control anything, right? So I'm like, I'm going back to my goatee. That's it. I'm cutting the rest of this shit off. And then I do it, and I'm like, fuck, that was a bad idea. I have to grow it back now. I felt in control for 10 seconds. It was awesome.
Right. Yeah, luckily this worked. Well, that's what I thought. Well, you know what? I'm gonna diet, and if I go back and I'm like, oh crap, I really did not want the dark hair. I'm like, I'll just immediately make an appointment to go get it lightened again. I'll just have to bite the bullet and pay the money for it. Like this is cheaper, and I think I actually like it better. So.
So sorry, I didn't mean to segue into that and embarrass you, but yeah, it looks good. The
Thank you.
Workout thing, the exercise thing, yeah. I do exercise now just as much for the mental component as I do for the physical component. Like I'm not even sure what the hell. So I had a goal for July to be able to bench press my body weight, to be able to pull up my body weight and to squat my body weight. I'm way past squatting my body weight, way past that. And then I could pull up my body weight 30 times, 3 sets or 10 sets of 3 rather. It's tough. Don't get me wrong. I got a lot of improvement still, and I can bench 205. I'm sure I could bench my body weight of 212, 214, maybe not 30 times, but I could definitely do it. It's not that much more. I could easily do it. So I've hit that goal. It's not July yet. I hit that goal. Okay. And now what? So like, okay, well, maybe I'll set a running goal. So to do the running thing, right? So I'm like, and I said, well, maybe I'll do the 10K in Disney in January. And I kind of was thinking, all right, I'll start training for that. So I went to do a 5K the other day, which is 3 miles, 3.1.
Right.
And I start running, and I'm like, first mile, no problem. I can do a 10-minute mile, no problem at this point. I'm pretty comfortable with a 10-minute mile. I've done an 8-minute mile. That's a bitch. Don't try that.
Well, a 10-minute mile is freaking awesome. Like, there's no way I could do that.
Yeah, I think you'd be surprised. It's not that bad. But on a treadmill, I did it on a treadmill. I haven't done it outside. So 10-minute mile on the treadmill, no problem. So I did 2 miles at 20 minutes. That last minute rather was rough. I couldn't do the third one. There's no way. And I'm like, what am I doing this for? I hate running. Like, I'm just doing it to say I checked the box at this point. And there's no way I want to run 6.2. I have no desire. I would rather fight 50 people. You're like,
what's the hardest thing for you with the running? Is it the breathing, or is it like the muscle, your leg muscles?
It's not the legs. It's the breathing and the heart. I just get fatigued.
Yeah.
Like in my chest, my bronchial tubes right here, I can feel them. Like they get irritated from all that. And I think it maybe has something to do with my allergies. Maybe I have a touch of asthma like my dad and my brother did, but I don't have it real bad. It's not enough to where I notice it or would ever be diagnosed with it. But when I run, I feel it. And it fucking sucks. I hate it.
Yeah, that's how I am. Like I'll try and I'll do it. Like I'll have my music on and I'll try and go to like a beat of a song. And when I get to like a motivational part, I'm like, okay, now I got it. I'm going to go for it. But I think my other thing is, hey, Kirky.
Hi.
Hey, love. We're talking about exercising.
I'm an expert at that.
Oh, I know.
This was your big opportunity to tell me we were talking about sex, because you were talking really like, you'd be like, holy shit, I missed like 10 minutes and look what happened.
But no, I'll get going, and then I'm like, okay, I can do this. I got this. But I see other people who can like just jog, and like they're doing their nice little pace. I am like an all or nothing with everything I do. So when I start running, I'm like full on practically sprinting. And I think I just like suck the life out of me immediately, because like I can't go, I can't breathe,
If you want to do that, Tanya, I will tell you something you will find joy in, which I never thought I would have. But interval training will be the difference for you. So if you do 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. So 20 seconds at like 7, 8, 9 miles an hour. I've worked my way up to 9, but just 20 seconds at 8 miles an hour, and then rest for 10. And then do that 4 times, and then take a 1-minute break, and then do it again. Like do 4 sets of 4.
Yeah.
I think over time, start lower. Start maybe at 6.
Right.
6 for 20 seconds, off for 10. Just do that, but do the whole. I'd rather you did all of the repetitions than you went fast. I think you'll find huge cardio benefits of that, and you will find that release of the running, that feeling of running without the nonstop just pounding. Because my problem is I hate running so much, especially when I'm outside and I don't have a treadmill to set my pace, that I run faster to get it over with. Like I want it over, so I run faster, and that never ends well.
See, that's my thing. I don't go for time. I go for distance. So it's like I'm gonna go walk 4 miles today. So it's like the quicker I can get it done, the quicker it's over with. So I'm pushing and that's why John's like, I can't even walk with you. You are ridiculous. It is painful to walk as fast as you walk. I'm like, I want to get this shit over with, so I don't have to do this anymore.
So we kind of started off, and I'm like, I want you to kind of come on this. We started off talking about like what are good measures for success at this point? Like, what are you using for good measures of success? And I was just saying how, like, the scale is really not a good one anymore because you don't really know if you're gaining weight and you're working out, are you gaining muscle? Or are you eating shitty and gaining fat? Are you body composition? I don't really think the tools are there. The stand-on ones are not, and I've said this in the past even as a metric that I use, they're not 100% reliable. They're not that great. Your clothes are pretty good, but as you switch seasons, you switch clothes. So we were talking about how I just switched into the summer clothes, so it's like my shorts fit a little different than my pants. Do I know where I stand anymore? What tools do you kind of use to kind of keep yourself in check?
Are you talking about your real short shorts or your longer shorts?
Well, my real short shorts are only for the shows you and I do offline, but these are my normal shorts.
Ah, gotcha. Well, I would say for me, I would say I probably still use the scale, but it's like a once a month thing, maybe. But I can't attribute any kind of weight loss or weight gain to exercising or gain of muscle tone because I still completely suck at the whole muscle building kind of thing. Right now I'm strictly in just survival mode. So
we were kind of talking about that too. How we're all in like summer's supposed to be lighthearted and fun. Who did not get the memo? Because it's not been that way.
No, not at all. It's freaking stressful.
I'm looking forward. Oh, you mean maintenance or
just the summer?
No, just life.
Oh no, I'm looking forward to the summer actually. It finally warmed up here just in like the past week. In fact, not only did it warm up, but it's unseasonably high here, and people are complaining and moaning and groaning about it, and I'm like, no, not me at all. Yeah, I want things to dry out here. I've been looking forward to that. So, and then last weekend, did you guys talk about Wafflepalooza at all? I mean, I know you guys.
No, we're waiting for you.
You're our Wafflepalooza correspondent. Right. Now heading to our correspondent from the field, Kirk.
Ah. No, yeah.
Hey, Kirk, you look like you're nice and tan. You look like you got some sun.
Looking very sharp there, sir.
Well, I got probably a little bit of color over the weekend, but it's warm here, so when it gets warm, I just become very rosy. And then I had to throw a hat on because you can see a line right here where I had just come from a massage from here.
The table.
Yeah, so like my face was in the little hole thing, but
my face is in the hole. It never leaves a mark. And if it does, you don't do that again because something's wrong.
If you don't leave a mark, you're doing something wrong.
Exactly.
But so to answer your question, I in maintenance right now, I still use the scale periodically just to see how I'm doing or where I'm at, but it doesn't affect what I decide to do or not to do. It just kind of like, oh, okay, that's where I am, and then I kind of go from there. And I can kind of tell, like, if I feel like I'm retaining water, if I feel like, I take my socks off and I can see where I have like, a little edema lines or whatever, I might hop on the scale real fast because I'll want to see if I'm retaining water, because the scale will definitely tell me, if I'm retaining water.
Yeah.
So, but the summer, I'm looking forward to the summer, especially if the summer's going to be anything like Wafflepalooza. So it was fun.
So it was awesome.
Well, let me set it up for you. So Katie and do you guys want to hear this?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, of course.
All right. So Katie and I decided to drive down to Portland on Saturday morning. Now, some of the people had actually got in, like Lauren and people got actually into town like Thursday, and I think Christina went down Friday. So Katie and I were a little bit late coming to the thing, but we got to Sarah and Chris's house early to help them set up, and we made it down to Portland in record time. I mean, Seattle traffic just was non-existent. I mean, we zipped down there. We had one quick potty break at one of the rest stops, and we literally made it there like in 3 hours. Like, that's crazy, unheard of. But it was great, and it was a beautiful day, sunny, and we knew it was going to be really warm there. So we stopped at the store first to pick up some supplies. Sarah needed us to pick up something for her, but I don't know if this is the appropriate time for the big announcement. But it could be a whole nother subject. But so I'm taking a hiatus from alcohol for the foreseeable future. I made this decision earlier last week. So I may or may not want to go into details in regards to the reasoning behind that. other than, let's just say, it just was not a good thing, or was not a good thing in my life, or wasn't adding to my life in any way. In fact, it was taking away a lot. So I went to Wafflepalooza completely sober and maintained that throughout the entire event. So Katie and I kind of strategized ahead of time as to, well, what are we going to have that's fun, festive for us to drink? So we must have got every variety of sugar-free Monster and Rockstar known to man, like one of each. And
so we also do taste test.
yeah, and we also got some meat and some cheese and just stuff that we knew that, because, you know, it's going to be a potluck, you know, for this particular thing. You never know what people are going to bring. So we just kind of, Katie's still in the losing phase. So she, you know, we went into this with a strategy for her to make sure that there's food there for her there that would be healthy for her, healthy options for her to choose from, because not everybody's in maintenance, you know. And then
right.
It was like, you know, having some healthy, fun, bubbly alternatives. So I felt like I was still participating in all the fun, and it was a blast. I mean, the weather was perfect. Their pub shed is amazing.
There's lots of pictures online for that.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
And they had this like industrial mister thing that like literally had like a garden hose plugged into it with like a big blower, and it was pointed just right over the yard to where it would go out over the yard, but then the breeze would kind of bring it back over to us where we were sitting in the shade. I was so comfortable. I mean, I planted myself in one of those padded chairs that they had there, and I mean, I felt like I was in. I had no idea I was in a suburb somewhere in you know in the inner parts of Portland or in the parts of Oregon, and it was just so much fun. They had music going, and lots of new people showed up, and lots of old friendly faces showed up, and I got to talk with Laura Van Tol a little bit about WLSFA and some thoughts about planning into next year, which was really interesting and fun to talk about. And
have they decided on a location yet? I don't think they've made an announcement.
Not yet. But I'm very excited about some of the areas or places that she's considering, and cool. gave her my feedback in terms of, you know, where I would like to go, or, you know, what I would think would be fun.
Yeah.
But so the music was great, and the food, so good. Somebody made a shrimp and scallop ceviche, Jennifer Mahoney, and it was just a really huge tub of it. And then she chopped up some avocado on the side. So I would say, other than Christina VSG's contribution of like 4,000 chocolate chip cookies. Everything there.
evil woman.
I know, she is, right? That's probably why TJ hates her.
Wait, I have to tell her thank you, because look, she sent me for my birthday. She sent me a I Love Seattle shirt for my birthday.
How was your boobs? It froze just on your boobs.
It froze on your boobs. It was not bad, but it just probably not what you wanted to show.
Yeah, she would never want to do that. So
no.
So the food was really good, and of course the people were having fun, making all kinds of really festive drinks, and Katie had made some Jello shots for people earlier in the day. But oh my gosh, and the margarita fountain was going. I mean, the Waffles did an amazing job for setting up the venue and getting it ready for all of us. And so there was, and then, I don't know, probably like halfway into it, maybe 3/4 of the way into it, they started setting up the PA system and speakers, and we had our own show of going viral. Did a live performance just for us.
Nice. I'm so jealous.
And
I'm so jealous I wasn't there.
If you're into nerd rock or whatever, oh my God, these songs are just freaking hysterical. Phil would be on the ground dying.
Oh, I've followed along. I've been following their journey very well. So.
And
me too.
They sounded so good, and it's like. And I'm already thinking, like, oh, where can I have these guys? Where can I book these guys in Seattle? Like, where, you know, because like they did a fantastic job. And then, of course, all of that nerd rock was inspiring a lot of interpretive dancing by a few of my friends who still like to have Jello shots and stuff. So, I mean, the backup dancers were fantastic. And then once Going Viral was done, they left the PA system up, and then karaoke started.
Nice.
Oh my God.
I hope to God, if there is a God, sweet baby Jesus, Some of those videos make it online. I hope, if they haven't already. And if they don't, I have at least one of a very, very rousing rendition of Wilson Phillips' Hold On for One More Day.
Well, I saw a picture of Lindsay. Lindsay looked like she was rocking out. It's not
Lindsay
like
was on fire. Lindsay was on fire. She was having a blast.
it looked like Chris was giving some kind of speech, like very formal speech, and she's like
Yeah, she
totally
was like
rocked out.
He was like in full Tina Turner backup dancer mode, and he's probably like talking about history.
Right.
You know? Yeah, that
That's
pretty
fun.
much that sums that part of the night up. And then as it started to get dark, the pub shed cooled down, and there was like a really competitive game of darts going on, and they had us all sign the inside of the doors. They had Sharpies for us
nice.
to write individual messages on the pub shed. And there was a lot of FaceTiming going on with folks that couldn't make it, and it just was just a fun night. And then one of the advantages of having Sober Kirk at your party is things stay very clean. So I was busy, throwing things away, wiping down counters, and like mopping up sticky stuff off the floors, making sure if anybody was going to pass out, they passed out on something soft. Normally that would be me, but it was fun. And then they started playing a game of Cards Against Humanity. Oh, we had a fire pit going. Oh, props to Katie. She is a former Girl Scout, and she made a fire out of practically nothing after almost being killed by the wood pile falling on her earlier in the day.
Oh no.
Oh, and the other big thing that happened, oh gosh, well, I don't care. I was going to say, I hope this isn't a spoiler, but who cares? Katie did her first cartwheel post VSG.
She did put up a video about that.
All right.
It's not a spoiler.
Oh, I missed that video. I'm going to go look for it. And her
No, she
hair
didn't do
looks
the
so
video,
cute.
but she talked about it. She did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She totally did it. She was like, oh my God, you totally did it. Lauren was doing them and eventually slammed her foot into a table or something and had to stop. But I don't think she wasn't feeling any pain at that point.
That's the next morning injury.
Yeah. It's not a party until someone gets injured.
Right.
But it was just so much fun. And then in the morning, people got up and like Lindsay went straight into action and made this really good, wholesome sort of egg omelet mixture thingy for the group to share. And everyone was just kind of hanging out in the living room because a lot of people spent the night. I mean, anything that had a flat surface literally was taken by somebody. I had a pretty princess bed with some like Hello Kitty drawings of either Sarah or Chris's daughter's pictures of her and her BFF. So my bed was pink and black with polka dots and zebra stripes. Very cool. Very cool. But yeah, so everybody just hung out and we had breakfast and just chilled out. It was kind of weird because, not weird in a bad way, but weird in a like, nobody really wanted the day to end, but it was, some of us had to get on the road before traffic actually did start happening for people returning from the weekend. So Katie, Christina, and I got on the road like around 11 and started to head back up to Seattle. And there's like, I guess a pseudo-regional famous burger chain that's well-known in the lower part of Washington, I guess in the northern part of Oregon. It's called like Burgerville or something. And it's kind of like in an In-N-Out if you're from that part of the country. And it's kind of like Dick's Burgers up here in Seattle. So it's like kind of a fresher hamburger place, but they're just well known for like their sauce and stuff. So we made a pit stop there, and I had my little kids meal, and Katie had a really good salmon salad thing, and Christina had the chicken whatever. But it was nice. So we made a little quick pit stop and had a nice lunch, and then finished our drive home. And I was still home in time to like wrap up laundry and make Eric and I dinner. And yeah, I mean, it was a lot. I mean, so much happened in such a short period of time that it was like so much fun. So, but while there, we were talking about like what some of the things that we could do this summer as a group or together or in smaller groups. And there's a big interest in people wanting to come up to this area to do some kayaking. And that's something I haven't done before, and I don't think Christina's done it before. Katie has. And then Debbie Brooks does it a lot. Debbie, D-E-B-E. I think her last name's Brooks, but she she's a avid kayaker, so some kayaking. I've always wanted to do some white river rafting.
Me too. Me too.
I think I would actually be good at it because I can be very like fluid in the water. I'm not like a real stiff person, So I love being in the water. I just don't want the water to be like ice cold. Like, aren't there tropical warm river, white river rafting trips?
Well, I mean, are you doing white water rafting, or
I don't know.
Because you could do like kayaking or rafting on like very low, like there's different grades of rivers. Like here, I mean, obviously if you come here, it's going to be in the spring in particular, it's going to be class 4, class 3 stuff. But class 2, class 1, very lackadaisical kind of cruise down the river. There's some really great stuff where you get in the boat. You give all your camping gear to the tour group. They take your camping gear down the stream in a bus, and then you get in the boat and you ride down and get to the campsite, and you camp that night, and then you do it again the next morning. And it's really cool because it's not super high-end crazy rapids. It's more just all day kind of cruising down the river. So
no, that sounds ideal. Actually.
Yeah, no, I agree.
We did that kayaking at Banning, and that was. I had never kayaked before, so I was really nervous about that. But I enjoyed it so much. I found it extremely relaxing. And it wasn't like very many rapids, so it was like a good intro to like if I would feel comfortable with that. And like the first one, I was not comfortable on the first little rapid thing we went through. But once like I got a feel for it and I kind of relaxed into it, then I was like, oh, I would definitely be willing to try something a little bit more challenging next time.
So while we were at Burgerville, I was looking at all the touristy pamphlet things, and
always good.
We have this.
Where is that?
It's here in Washington, like not that far from us. It's over by Mount Rainier, and Katie was thinking about wanting to do this for her birthday, and guess what? The maximum weight limit is 275. She's 257. She could totally do it. Yeah,
she could totally do it. Oh my God. When's her birthday?
It's in August. Yeah, and it's like the cargo nets and the aerial bridges and the zip lines, and it's out in
things I love.
Yeah, it's in a national forest, and like so I was already looking at like Airbnbs out there to see if there's like a big old house or something that we could rent out in the forest and just make a night of it. Yeah, so maybe more to come about that, but yeah, isn't that cool? So we looked at it, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe we could do this. And then right here it says maximum weight 275, and she's like, I can do that. So originally we were thinking about doing a wine tasting or wine tour for her birthday, but neither one of us are drinking this summer. So
the zip line is perfect. Oh, I'm telling you, if I had some place close by, I would be, and I could afford it, I would go every weekend. I love it.
Yeah, Doug drops the weight. Or Doug drops the trees, as TJ calls them. He has access to a lot of them. There's a lot of them here, and he's asked me to go a couple times, and I'm not blowing him off. He just has a different work schedule than I do, so it's really tricky. Like he goes like on a Thursday. Like I'd love to, but I'm up to my ass on a Thursday. So, so I definitely want to do that, and being that he does go pretty regularly, I'd like to hook up with him and do it. So I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, he's definitely a good zip lining buddy. I think he enjoys it just as much as I do. So.
So yeah, I mean that's any indication what the summer's going to be like. And then I have in a couple weeks I'm going to a concert for a friend of mine's birthday, and it's at the Gorge out here, and it's the Gorge is just it's out in the middle of nowhere, and it's a campground. So you actually you arrive the night before the concert and camp, and then you camp all day, and then you go to the concert, and then you go back to your tent, and then the next day you break down and go. So this will be my first camping trip like in 25 years.
Cool.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We went last summer, and we took the kayaks out to the lake. So I do a lot of lake kayaking, and we took the boats with us, set up the tent. The daughter and I went and kayaked all day with my buddy and his son, and then came back and made burgers and hot dogs on the barbecue, and then s'mores later on for the kids, and sat around the fire. It was great, man. I really enjoy it.
Is it bad that the tent that I selected I bought based on going to YouTube and like Googling like the easiest tent in the entire world to set up?
No, there's nothing wrong with that. Mine takes a little thinking power. It's not easy.
So I just have like a little it's a 2-person tent I think, which I figure will be big enough for me, and then it has like 2 sticks that you just cross, but I bought the little kit where you can get the extra spikes and the mallet, and I have my LED lantern that you can hook to the inside, and I got a battery-operated fan, because you guys know how much I have to sleep with a fan.
I like your fan,
So,
yeah.
This one, like, that's the only battery operated thing he bought. I'm just saying.
just saying.
I let the dicks in the sauce go. I let that joke just slide right on by. TJ literally IM'd me and gave me shit for letting you get away with that, but let it go by.
Well, like everything else that I own that is battery operated, this thing takes like 20D batteries. So it's like the people like that do relief work in Haiti are saying that this is like the ultimate best fan ever to have,
Nice.
like, you know, while camping. So I have that. I got my ice chest. I have my memory foam. I have my sleeping bag. I think I've got everything. So.
Oh, you sound like you're set up. Yeah.
Are you going to try and practice setting up your tent before you go?
No, I mean, I figure worst case scenario, there's going to be a few other people there. And I'll just play the damsel in distress and probably have my.
You'll find the biggest, muscliest dude who has to take his shirt off to like put the tent together for him. This is all planned ahead of time, Tanya.
Actually, I was thinking most likely what would happen is my friend Tracy, a woman whose birthday it is, would end up putting it up for me.
She can take her shirt off and do it. That's fine. Just videotape that for the rest of us. So.
All right.
You're gonna be the Blanche. Is it Blanche Dubois or whatever of camping world? You're gonna rely on the kindness of strangers.
Like, I don't know what to do. But yeah, so that's gonna be fun. And that same friend Tracy, she's trying to get me to do a 12K with her this weekend.
We were just talking about that too. I fucking hate running. So does Tanya.
Well, I don't think she runs. I think she walks, and this course is like really hilly. They show you all the elevations on the course because it's known for its like grueling hills.
This is why God made elevators.
Yeah, but I'm like, I haven't trained or done anything. I mean, I don't even know if I could walk that if it's all hilly like that. I mean, I could. I mean, at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, given the amount of time, I mean, how long you want to take to do it? That's really all it comes down to.
So I have my choice to do that with her, and then later on that day, she's going to go to the horse races. So I might just do that instead.
So that's appealing, right?
Well, I mean, I haven't been before, so.
Well, see, a lot of people come to New Orleans or like this area down here to do races because we're all flatlands. Like there's no hills at all anywhere. So this is a really good place for people to get good times, except during the summertime because it's so hot that it'll dehydrate you. But like in the spring, like March, April, and then like October, it's gorgeous to be out there.
Yeah, like Jazz Fest is almost too late to come.
Yeah.
It's like it's too fucking hot there. I'm not going. Like I want to go, but I'm not going. So.
This year's Jazz Fest, the weather was so perfect, but then when the weather's that perfect, you don't want to go because it's so crowded. I mean, it's like it's crowded normally, but the weather was gorgeous. But usually it's the last weekend of April and the first weekend of May, and that first weekend of May is brutal. I can remember going to see Jimmy Buffett one year, and we just sat in front of the little misting fans, and like, I don't care who's singing, I don't care, I'm just melting out here. So
is Jimmy Buffett considered jazz?
No, but Jazz Fest we had. It's never just jazz. They'll have like multiple stages.
The only reason I want to come to Jazz Fest is Better than Ezra. That's it. I've been a huge fan forever and a day. I mean, I have every album, even including the weird one that nobody has that you can only buy at their concerts, and I sent it to Tanya.
Are they jazz?
No, they're not jazz at all. Not even at all.
I was gonna say I hate to admit you guys, but I'm probably like one of those. This is a major faux pas, but I don't like jazz. I mean, it's okay. It's going to be elevators and stuff.
I'm from New Orleans, and I do not like jazz at all. I don't get it. I don't enjoy it at all.
It's not my flavor either.
It would just put me to sleep. I'm not offended by it by any means, but it would probably like lull me into a nice afternoon nap or something.
Right. Exactly. Well, there's no like real beat, and so I don't like things that I can't like. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not a jazz person either. But no, Jazz Fest, they'll have like multiple stages. So they'll have like Congo Square, which is like more of like an African feel, and then they'll have like the major stages that they'll have like Elton John or they'll have like big names. They go to the big stages, like, and then they'll have like, a lot of local. Huh?
I was gonna say like Harry Connick Jr. Does he play a lot there?
Yeah, and like Bruce Springsteen, and I think this year we had Ed Sheeran. I wanted to go to that, but we didn't. We've seen lots of people. I can't think. I'm drawing a complete like. But like Aaron Neville's like a big like local. That'll they're every year. The Neville brothers, and so I mean it's fantastic. The food is phenomenal. So I used to go just for the food.
I would go for that. But we get the same people like that come through the whole winery circuit here. So it's like Chris Isaac again, Lyle Lovett and his big band again. You know, it's just like
John will come up and see you for all that.
I am such a snob now, man. I am like a total small venue dude. Like, I don't want to see any of my favorite bands unless they're in a small venue. That's it. I don't want to deal with big crowds. We got Red Rocks Amphitheater here, which is gorgeous and huge, and it's got great acoustics, natural acoustics. Short of somebody coming here for a show, I still, after all these years living here, I have not gone there. No.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny? And this is a pre-op versus post-op thing. House of Blues. That's where everybody goes, for a small venue here. And I hated the House of Blues because you had to stand up the whole time.
Right.
And when I was at my heaviest, I'm like, I am not going anywhere and paying money to stand up for 3 hours. Like, I'll listen to the CD at home. I'm not standing up. Now it's like live music, stand up, no problem. Let's go.
I won't do it any other way. Like, if I am not within throwing distance of a stage, let alone closer, standing up, I'm not interested. But when I was big, I wanted nothing to do with standing the whole time. That was the only thing I miss about being big from that kind of environment is once I would get in place, I could just lock down. Like nobody was moving 332 pounds. Not happening.
No,
you had your personal space.
Though. Right. Dude, I remember just being bashed into though all the time, like constantly feeling like I was in the fucking way.
Yeah, but they couldn't move you. But now if they're bashing around and they hit you, you move. Like, that freaked me out. We just went and saw Trapped at a place here in Colorado Springs, which is called Black Sheep, which is a very small club. And I'm like, all right, cool, we like Trapped. Let's go see them. People started, like, moshing around, and they were just literally trying to knock people over and shit. And I was not feeling happy about that. I was like, I got to get the fuck out of here because I'm not big enough to, like, have them hit me and bounce off anymore. I move now. Like, that kind of messed with me a little bit. So yeah,
you're so delicate with your
I'm a little flower now,
your big old guns and
shit. You know, it's funny you talk about that because you know I not to pull us back to topic, but we were talking about God forbid. People are like, when the fuck are they going to talk about the topic? No, man.
Summer plans is part of maintenance. These
it
are
is
all
part of maintenance.
All these things involve being active and living your life and not
involving around. Yeah. Right. It is a measure of success. This is shit you would not have done before.
Right. So we're still on topic. So.
Yeah. No, I'm totally teasing. No. So I don't remember where I was going with that because I put something in this cup that affects me. No. So I was thinking. So. Like, are you guys ever at odds with, like we were talking about like how before, and when I was big, that didn't freak me out, and now it does. But are you ever at odds with like even just things like you notice in your body? Like for me, the thing that's been really tripping me out lately is my forearms and my hands. Like the little tiny muscles in my forearms. Like if I flex my fist, I can like see them and feel them, and at the same time, my weight's up on the scale. I'm having a really hard time like processing that. Like I'm feeling weird. I feel very like my arms look small to me, my forearms and my hands. Yeah. Like veins. And you guys have
that? I remember when I first started noticing veins in my arms, especially when I worked out and would pop out. It grossed me out because I'm not like, I don't like veins really, but I've had to get used to it because I can remember I never could see my veins in my arms, anything. And my mom, my mom is extremely thin and she always had like veins all popping out and I was like, oh, it's so gross. And I can remember when I first started, like just to squeeze my hand right now, I can see the vein popping out in my arm, in my forearm right here. And that took me a long time to like not be grossed out by. So yeah, like little things like that, definitely. And things like my collarbones. I mean, everybody talks about collarbones, but I still have a habit of like resting my fingers in my collarbones because I never had collarbones before. So I notice like if I'm daydreaming, I'll just like realize I'm resting my fingers in my collarbones.
That's weird.
I know.
Anything like that for you, Kirk?
Well, I was always really naturally veiny, at least in one part of my body. So veins.
God damn it! You beat me to the joke. I was hoping he would just skip right over it, and I was going to put him on it. Keep going.
You yes and no. I mean, I look down. I'm like, ooh, these look like the. I'm not. I mean, I'm not noticing the muscles of my forearm because there's none there. I sometimes look down and say, oh, who's this little old lady attached to my body? She needs to shave her arms.
That's a hairy bitch right there. I don't know what the hell's going on.
But what's funny though is people that sometimes people will comment or they'll notice and they'll like, oh, you're like a freaking nurse's dream. Like or before, you know, I had so much of a body layer, I'd get stuck sometimes a few times and you know find a vein. Now it's like finding veins, not a problem at all. It's like, well, here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one. Like,
right.
Take your pick. You know, there's a lot, especially if I'm really well hydrated and stuff. They really kind of pop out, you know, and so it doesn't bother me. Like the stuff that, if anything, like bothers me, it's I would say it's maybe just the way my cheeks look. You know, I'm okay when I'm smiling. I like can't smile all the time though. So sometimes I mean I have like for real resting bitch face. Like I'll see a candid pictures of me or whatever, or I'll catch myself, or Eric will say something to me or comment because we actually joke about it. But it's like I'm like my resting face, especially like with the Botox in the forehead and around the eyes, I look like I am like pissed off all the time, and I'm like, what
Did
are
you
fucking?
Did you see the other thing? I posted a thing on Facebook and I said, I think John has resting dick face, not bitch face. Because I had to like list the 10 things for women who have resting bitch face, and I'm like, everything. I'm like, that's John. That's John. Oh my god.
I came out of the post office store the other day, and Allison was in the car. She's like, if I didn't know you, I'd be scared of you. You look scary. I had my sunglasses on, and I was very serious, and I was, you know, very just doing my thing, and she's like, you're kind of scary. You need to tone that down. People are not finding you approachable anymore. I'm like,
yeah, it's true because I
say, shut up, bitch! I'll kill you. No,
yeah.
It's the roids.
It's the
roids, yeah.
But yeah, I just like, you know, especially if I got sunglasses on too, and it's like I'll see those pictures and I'm just like, oh no. So I don't know. I have to smile more, and then see it's okay, like while I'm smiling. But
right.
there's things that we can do. I mean, we can have fat, or you know, you can have your own fat injected into your cheeks, and just to take away the severity. It doesn't have to be overdone or anything. It should just be, you know, just redistributed a little bit.
Right.
And it lasts, I think they said 6 to 8 months, but it's not cheap. It's like $600 to $800, you know. But if it doesn't bother me enough to spend that kind of money on it. But I would say that's probably the only thing. The only other thing I probably wouldn't do either is I probably wouldn't wear a real short, like a rugby short, because my legs just have that, you know, extra skin or wrinkles, you know, from all the weight loss in the legs. But in a pair of cargo shorts, just fine. You know, it's, you know, I am totally okay.
Yeah, you know, I got the same problem on the inside of my left knee. Even as much as I work out, the inside of my left knee when I'm like doing yoga, I can totally see loose skin. At the top of my thighs, for sure. Nobody can see that, obviously, when I'm working out. And it doesn't matter what kind of shorts I'm wearing. And then obviously the bottom of my ass cheek is completely fucking wrecked. But thank God for the Kirk and his recommendation for spandex-based, underwear. So Kirk and I have a we're connoisseurs of men's underwear. Let's leave it that way. So, for those of you that don't know,
definitely,
we really do study. I have 4 or 5 different brands, and I can tell you the pluses and minuses of all of them, the tensile strength of the spandex, the percentage of the mix, why that's good, why it's bad, which ones you should sleep in, which ones you shouldn't sleep in. I mean, I can tell you all kinds of stuff.
It's that kind of stuff's important, especially not just for men but for women as well. You know, I mean, we have to make sure if you have any extra skin anywhere, you want to be comfortable and you want to be dry, and you don't want to have a situation where it's conducive to bad things. I was talking to a couple ladies at the Wafflepalooza thing, and they were talking about, I think they were talking about boob sweat, like how, you know, they get sweat kind of in the boobs, and then her husband, who's I don't think was overweight, but he would have just chafing problems during the summer with his legs getting wet. And I'm like, oh, Fresh Balls. You gotta try Fresh Balls. But they make it for women too. It's like Fresh Boobs, but it goes on sort of like a gel, and then it dries into a very fine powder. So I don't know what's in it, but she said there's a product almost exactly like that she tricked her husband into using, and it's actually made by Massengill, and it's like it's on the feminine plumbing aisle, and it's another.
That's right next to regular plumbing at Home Depot, by the way. Just so
yeah. And it's like it's another it's a much less expensive alternative, but it's a gel that turns into a powder. And her husband tried it, not knowing that it was made by Massengill or whatever, and was freaked out a little bit after he told her, and was like, oh, I'm not going to use that. But then ended up asking for it a few weeks later because he was just very chafed and very sticky down there. So that's summertime stuff. But knowing your underwear and knowing what you're putting next to your skin is important because you don't want to have.
Oh, so much they breathe. That blend breathes so much. If you are wearing cotton boxer briefs, guys, or cotton briefs, period, which shouldn't be wearing briefs because they're out of fashion, but boxer briefs, if you're wearing cotton boxer briefs, you are missing out. Your life is not completely everything it could be. That's all I'm saying.
Phil's describing his male underwear experience like a woman who's describing finally finding a bra that fits perfectly.
That's right.
Right.
Because it's got there's cup size and then there's bandwidth. It's kind of the same as a bra for a guy. It just depends on what you're cupping. That's all.
It's just that we don't have a Victoria's Secret type place to walk in, Phil, to have them come over and fill us up and measure us and.
Hey, could you come over here and measure my balls, please? That'd be awesome.
Can you imagine that?
Take your time.
If there was an equivalent for men for underwear like Victoria's Secret, can you imagine guys walking into like a store, a retail store, walking in and having some like hot guy walk up to you and say, "Oh, well, here, let's find your true size."
Yeah.
And like,
well, you're a 34 triple D is what you are down there. So we need a cup that fits that.
Yeah.
And do it right in the middle of the store.
You understand? Like that's a D. Like I'm not. This is not a promotional video, but there's a certain amount of space you need to hold things where they belong, but not be restrictive. And they just don't offer a lot of choices for guys. It's like you got to kind of try different brands and hope you find the right one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's probably why I have 50 different pairs of underwear right now, all different brands. And that's fun because whatever I don't like, Eric will wear, and whatever Eric doesn't like, I can wear. So it works out. He looks a lot better in his underwear than I do, though.
Well, he might say the same about you.
Right, exactly.
Oh, man. He's definitely built for men's underwear modeling, for sure.
We were talking about not having a solid self-image. Like, Tanya and I were talking about, like, I have no way to look in the mirror and reference myself to anyone else. Like, I don't see what's really there. I see what I see, right? A buddy of mine, a Canadian guy at work, he's technically an American now, but he originally from Canada.
Canada.
He came down from Canada. He was a contractor at work. He recently got signed on full time, but he got up the other day and I noticed he was wearing 34. So I'm like, holy shit, we wear the same size pants? That can't be right. Like that can't fucking be right. I don't look like that guy. I don't know. What the fuck?
Right.
Like I don't see myself that way. My brain just doesn't work that way.
See, that's what I was starting to tell you. That's why I think everybody who tells me they have body image issues, I say you need to take a lot of pictures and like really look at yourself because the only way you're going to know what you look like is by looking at yourself a lot and not just in the mirror because the mirror, it's pictures that tells you what you really look like. And that's why for the longest time I took pictures every month and did side-by-sides of my progress. I could see what was changing and I don't know, just I remember a long time ago, me and Sarah Spano talking about this, and I said, you need to look at pictures of yourself the way you look at somebody that you're falling in love with, that you study every little bit, and like you just adore everything about that person. That's how you have to look at yourself until you can really see yourself for the way you are. It's not easy. It's not easy.
There's a lot of
especially
mental baggage that goes with that.
I know, but like, there's a whole. I mean, I avoided looking at mirrors at all, before surgery. So you have to train yourself to do that. But until you do that, you don't really know what you look like. You just don't.
So I will still go into the bathroom, and I have a full 2-sink set up in the back bathroom, masterpiece 5-bath, 5-piece master bath. Big long mirror. I will look dead in my eyes or right at the loose skin on my stomach. There's nothing in between or below that. There's nothing. That's all
Are
I
you
see.
sure? Are you sure there's nothing below it?
I don't see anything. I don't see. Well, okay,
Wait,
every once in a while.
are you telling me?
That's nice.
Maybe it's a girl thing. You don't dance naked in front of the mirror, like you put your music on.
If you sent a video for the rest of us to learn from, just get John to sign up on that shit, and then we'll be fine.
I don't. Well, our mirror's always
No?
foggy. No, our mirror gets foggy after a shower, but no.
Yeah, but see here, there's no moisture in the air, so it never gets foggy. Like
Right.
the beauty
Me
of
too.
Colorado is this: you take a shower, you hang your towel up on the door, you go to the mirror, it's completely clear. You come back in 2 hours,
Yeah.
your towel's dry, ready to go again. It's awesome.
Oh, wow.
Of course, your skin doesn't.
I have like double doors that lead to the bathroom, and then I leave it all open because I cannot stand steamy. And I like taking hot showers, like burn your skin hot. And so, but I do not like my mirrors to be fogged up at all. So I keep everything open so there's lots of air flowing through. So
If I looked like you, I wouldn't want my mirrors fogged up either. But I look like
whatever. You need to appreciate yourself, Phil.
I do every night because everybody tells me no. I'm the only one that will be with me, so every night I appreciate myself. Sorry, too many jokes. I'm sorry.
He appreciates himself until he goes blind.
I appreciate myself till I'm tired all of a sudden. I feel very exhausted suddenly, and I go to sleep. It's great.
Funny how that happens.
Magic. Sorry. Go on. I feel like I have to do extra lifting without TJ here, but go ahead.
Aw,
I know.
I miss TJ.
I know.
He sent me a really cool T-shirt website the other day, and
The bear one?
the T-shirt, bear T-shirt one.
The bearded bears?
Yeah.
That we do. That was awesome.
Yeah. I just past few weeks I've just sort of withdrawn from like everybody, even like you guys. This is the first time I'm talking to you, really.
I know, but
Yeah.
we
I
don't feel bad.
Yeah, but it's not for good stuff. It's not because I'm out having fun living my life. There's a lot.
We're all in the same boat. It's like, yeah, I just don't want to infect anybody with my bullshit, so I'm just gonna not talk to anyone. I'm just gonna leave it alone.
But that's why we need it tonight.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, and just like sometimes I just feel like in-person conversations. Sometimes, I mean, when I want to talk about something that's really, really heavy or really, really personal, it's just it's just something I have to do with somebody that's face to face. I need to be like face to face with that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
But I'll just, so nobody worries. For the most part, everything is going to be okay. It's just a matter of, this is just part of life, and this is part of coping with things that happen in life without having your usual crutches to fall back on. So, for me, food is no longer an option. For the foreseeable future, I found myself kind of using alcohol as a way to have something to look forward to and unwind, and I was using it in an unhealthy way, even though it wasn't an everyday thing or an all the time thing. So so now that's been kind of taken away, and it's really forcing me to deal with real stuff in healthy ways and surround myself with people who are loving and supportive. And I mean, in the middle of a crisis mid last week or so. My immediate thought was like, I'm so alone, I feel so alone. And then I reached out to 3 or 4 people, and I quickly realized I'm far from alone.
Far.
One text away, dude. Just pick up the phone. I know.
Yeah.
I will jump online no matter where I am. I will take a break.
That feeling is so easy to get into, right? I mean that.
Oh, it is.
That sort of poor me, or that whole self beating yourself up, and
Right. You have a lifetime of experience of being able to beat yourself up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real easy, familiar place to fall back into, and it's like the difference though now is just like, whoa, wait a minute, it's the food thing helped me understand, using things in an unhealthy way to not deal with things that need to be felt or dealt with. And,
Right.
it's like, it's going to be okay. It always is okay.
Yeah,
Um,
it is. And it's a good thing to talk about too, that when you lose the weight, life isn't going to be perfect.
it's
It's not going to
not.
be all sunshine and roses. And the
That,
weight is not the problem,
Yeah,
you
that
know?
is so. I'm so glad you said that because I was thinking about this the other day, and it was like, and I kind of want to touch on the alcohol thing too, but this piece is more important. Like, I remember somebody called me out on the carpet on something, and I went, shit, I did say that, and it was like, and I'll just say it. I'm not going to try and explain it away, but somebody said,
Yeah.
you're so angry lately. You're so upset all the time. You said if you ever got thin, you'd be happy. What happened to that?
did you say I'm still
Mhm.
Republican?
What's that?
Did you say I'm still Republican?
No, come on, man. I am so constitutionalist. I am not
Oh,
even
that's right.
Republican
That's
anymore.
right.
Republicans are almost corporatists at this point.
I'm
So
just kidding. Okay,
I
keep going.
can't deal with that.
All right. So they said you were angry. They said you were angry.
You're angry. You're frustrated. You don't seem that happy. You said if you ever got thin, you'd be happy. And I'm like, shit, I did say that. And like, what made me think which really fucks with me more because I'm like, wait a minute. I'm doing all these changes to my life to try and make myself happier. What if those things don't make me happy either? Like, what the fuck am I doing with myself? Like,
What if I'm just a curmudgeon?
what if I just need to go, go off fake my death and go off the grid or something? I don't know. I was like, it kind of freaked me out. I made it worse because I'm like, you're right. I am just. What if I'm never happy? What if this is it? You're like, well, what am I doing in my life? And you're like, it just made me second guess a lot of stuff.
But then when you worked through it, like, are you still working through it, or did you finally kind of chill out about it and say, well,
I'm still kind of just working through it. Yeah, I think it's just this, like, I've chosen a path. I must have chosen this path when I was less stressed out, I chose this path for a reason. Like, I logically thought this through and said, hey, these are the choices I want to make based on experiences and conversations I've had as to where I'd like to be in my life. And I think this is the path there. I hope that does end up in a happy place. If it doesn't, well, then what? I'll deal with it when I get there. But it just kind of play with your head, like in the moment. Like, what am I doing? Maybe I should just be content with this horse shit. I don't know.
Well, and you guys may have already talked about this earlier, but have you talked about going back and looking at old videos and kind of reminding yourself of where you started? Because a lot of times that's all it takes for me is maybe not even to look at the video, but just to kind of think about, oh gosh, wait a minute, look where you started with all of this, and the improvements and the things that you have done to be a better version of yourself, or to be the version of yourself that you've always envisioned for yourself to be. And honestly, I sit there and think, there's probably never going to be a point where it's ever going to be enough, like where it's ever going to feel like, okay, and that's
finished.
It's probably a good thing, because I think if you are the kind of person who is accomplished, you never feel satisfied with just that. I mean, it doesn't mean you're unhappy all the time. What I think what I'm saying is that, it's like you are always going to strive to be a better version of yourself, or you're always going to strive to raise the standard for yourself, because if you're not doing something, and that can even mean being a better version of yourself is learning how to relax more, or being a better version of yourself is learning how to forgive, or being a better version of yourself is feeling less stress or less guilt or whatever's particularly weighing you down.
Right.
So, that's kind of what I was thinking about it. Is there I was really thinking about this. I'm like, is there even maintenance? I mean, does maintenance even really exist? Because I don't feel like we're even maintaining. I feel like I'm still evolving. Like,
yes, I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah,
you hit on two topics that I was like totally driving towards, and you hit them all. That's awesome. So
you guys find yourself thinking about the same thing?
Yeah, because I mean, you keep changing, not just like weight and all that, but like as a person, and you discover new things and new interests. And I think in some ways, like when we've conquered the weight loss part of it, and so that you can kind of check that off the list and open yourself up to these other things that need to be worked on too. It wasn't like that was our only problem or only thing that we can improve on. But now we don't have to worry about that. That doesn't have to boggle our minds now and monopolize, like, you know, we put all of our eggs in, that's my problem basket.
Yeah.
That's not the problem anymore. Now I can look at what my other things are that I need to work on, you know, and I think that's kind of what happens too when we go through our like little kooky period after the weight loss, when you're like, you kind of lose your shit for a little while.
Yeah.
Because, okay, the weight loss thing is done. Now I've discovered I have all these other things that I've probably been screwing up or not doing to the best of my ability when living my life all along, and and you realize I could change the weight. That means I can change anything and everything if I wanted to, and then you all of a sudden want to do it all at one time. I'm going to change everything at one time, and that's when you go totally wackadoodle, you know. But you kind of need that because you have that final realization that anything is possible. Like, I never thought the weight loss would be possible, but it was. So that means if that's possible, then all this, fixing all this other shit, or not fixing, but learning these new things about myself is possible too. So it's good. It's a good thing. It's hard sometimes.
It's like peeling back the layers, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
and to your point, thank God, and I really am glad you brought this up, Kirk. It's like when I get in the deep dark funks, I go back 1 full year of my videos. It has to be a full year back. I'll look at the same day if I can, like, you know, as close to the same date as I can. What was I focusing on a year ago, and how silly does that look now, or how unimportant does that look now, or how, oh my God, you were worried about that, but you did it anyway. Like, that gives me a perspective to know that 1 year from now, Phil is going to look back at this shit and be like, dude, you wasted all that energy worried about this shit, and it never happened, or you beat it anyway, or you solved the problem, you found a solution that made you happier, or you did something, you know, like, and it could be something as dumb as, like, if you want to make it really superficial, something like, hey, Fat Phil couldn't do pull-ups. Fat Phil could not run 2 miles straight in 20 minutes. Fat Phil could not even run around the building one time without stopping. Like, I could not do that shit no matter how hard I tried. I could do all that stuff.
Right.
So, check box, I did it, done. And to Kirk's point, now I focus on the next thing. It's not that I don't appreciate what I've achieved. It's that I sometimes have to stop and remind myself of the things I achieved by looking back at a year ago.
yeah.
And if you have videos out there that are a year old, God, please go watch them. You'll be shocked. I looked at 2 years ago even, my pre-op video. I was like, holy crap, this is my first video. Look at all the shit I was worried about. Look how it all turned out. Crazy. You know, like.
Right, I know. And just looking back, like, I'll go back to, like, my pre-op or, like, my just newly post-op, and I feel like I'm me, but I was such a shy, reserved version of me back then. It's good for me to see that I'm not that person anymore. You know, like, I'm a better version, I think, than I was then. So.
I can't even imagine you. I should probably go back and watch your old videos, because I don't think I ever knew you really that ever. Like,
I'll have to send you a link to one of my first videos.
Oh, I mean, I just
yeah, that is weird for me too. I agree. That is strange for me when I look back on your old video.
It's weird. Yeah.
I just fell in love with you like the minute I saw you.
Aww.
I was like, oh, crazy band boy. Oh, like those big sunglasses in your soccer mom van. Just like, let me tell you what I'm thinking today. I'm like, you tell me. You tell me what's your day like, you fabulous soccer mom, you.
See, you started watching my videos when I was before I was very regimented, and I was in the same place in the house, and nobody could be anywhere close to me when I made a video because I had to follow.
Oh yeah, no, I came into the phase, whatever phase it was, where it's like, I'm in the car and I feel like making a video because I've got something on my mind that I want everyone to know.
Exactly. If it's my therapy sessions,
yeah, it's great. That's fantastic. I love that.
We were talking about this earlier before we started the show. Like, you have those, like, when you're in that zone, you're like, oh, you know, it's like full on, and it's like get as close to the truth as I can without throwing anybody under the bus. And the longer you go along, the more you're like, everything in my life affects somebody else. Now I have to be really careful about what I say.
That's what
I don't want to piss anybody off. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to. Yeah, it's crazy.
So you're like, I can't talk about that.
I'm just gonna reel that one back in. Never mind.
That's where the vague booking starts.
Yes.
Oh goodness, I try not to do that. I try not to do that.
We've learned.
Yeah.
We're learning, as Kirk put it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, we're still learning.
I don't think it stops. Like I
No.
was seriously thinking, like I was like, is there really such thing as maintenance? Because I don't feel like I'm maintaining. I feel like I'm just moving or evolving, and sometimes that evolving is a step back, you know, and it's not always a
Right.
step forward.
That's so true. Yeah, it's so true.
More.
Well, I'll tell you too. That is the kind of thing that messes with my head too. Was like knowing that I can't work out the way I used to because of how my arthritis has been so out of whack lately. So when I look back at some of my old videos, I'm like, oh God, I was so strong then, and I was so like I could see my muscles were leaner, and that kind of makes me feel bad sometimes. But then I also try and look at it from like, well, if I did it then, there's going to be a time when I'm going to be able to do it again. I just have to keep plugging away with finding the right medication for me, and everything will be fine, because I've had really bad times when I was younger, and I would have never thought I could have done what I've done. So,
Yeah.
but that I do feel bad sometimes being this far out, you know, like there's a peak that I got to that was like excellent, and then I don't feel like I'm at that peak right now, but I don't hate where I'm at. I'm not
Yeah.
where I was, you know.
Well, I think that's all part of the whole pendulum swinging, right? Eventually, you gotta. It's gonna land somewhere in the middle, and then you just kind of go with,
Right.
you know,
And
what,
accepting that where it lands is where it lands.
Well,
That's
I
what
think-
Phil and I were kind of talk about that too.
that could be the big lesson right there. Is just learning how to accept. I mean, the goal for this particular phase may not even have anything to do with strength, a number, you know, a size of this or that. It could just be learning something that's really should be considered a very big success is learning that, yes, I can get to this place, and it's okay if I go back a little bit and not panic, because I know that I can flick a switch on, or I know that I have enough control to where I can get back to that place. So it doesn't become this, self-sabotaging, completely backsliding, you know,
Right.
start from square one. It's just like
Right.
you know. So I mean, like, I guess probably like one of the biggest NSVs you can have is the state of mind that you're in now, where you're like, you know, I might have been stronger then, or I might have been leaner then, but I'm okay with where I'm at now, because I know eventually things will work out, and I'll get to wherever it is I'm supposed to be.
Right.
You know, I struggle with that's where I'm struggling right now. It's just struggling with that whole accepting where I'm at, and like I will beat myself up the same way I did before over if I eat we just to kind of give a little backstory. We went to this place called Amy's Donuts here in Colorado Springs. It's very popular. They make all these really crazy donuts, and I got a dozen donuts for the kids, and we said, well, look, we'll cut them up, we'll all try little pieces of them, and even I'll participate in something like that. I'll try a little piece of this, a little piece of that. Probably ended up with like a donut and a half in me at some point, and I was like, fuck this. I am gonna throw up. This is too rich. It was great. I enjoyed it. I'm done.
Right.
I beat myself up over that donut and a half the way I would have beaten myself up if I had eaten a whole dozen donuts before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
right.
the mindset changes. It's the same abuse, the same negative mentality, even though the crime is so much lower. The penalty is the same for the lower crime. It's so weird. It's such a
So
mental
when you
struggle.
catch yourself doing that though, what do you do to stop it, or do you just let yourself feel all that?
Kirk, I am the king of beating shit out of myself. I mean, Sarah Waffle will tell you this. I mean, her quote is Phil Olson beating himself up without food since 2013. You know, like that's my life. I'm sure. Even when it's something that I need, not something like food, but it's something that I need that ends up inadvertently being negative for somebody else, I take that on, and I shouldn't. I'm equal to everybody else. Why do I still put myself as less? Not as much less as I used to, but it's still less. It's just weird. I think that's what you're talking about, the constant evolving. I'm still growing in that area. I'm still trying to. There is shit I would not put up with now from people that I would have readily and openly accepted before. And I still feel a teeny tiny bit bad about the fact that I won't accept it. It's weird.
Well, I mean, that's okay, 'cause it could be just that's who you are, and then maybe once you you know that's your dialogue, and you catch yourself in that internal dialogue, and you know, hey, I'm Phil, I'm the person who beats myself up. You can stop yourself, you know, at that point and say, I don't know, you can say something like, what would I say this, like, if I came to you, Phil, and said, oh, I had a donut and a half, you know, oh my God, you know, I'm the worst person in the entire world, what would be the like first thing you'd say to me?
I would never say that to anybody else. That's the weird thing, right? I never would say that to you or Tanya. I'd be like, so you had a donut and a half. Don't do it tomorrow. Don't do it again at dinner time. That's all.
Yeah.
You know, have a protein shake later if you feel that bad about it. Don't worry about it. You know, like, I'd be like, you're fucking crazy. But when I do it, it's like, you're a fucking piece of shit. You're on your way back to 360. You just wait.
How could you be so weak? And mm-hmm.
You need to stop that internal dialogue though.
I'm trying, dude. I really am. I'm aware of it.
No,
at least that's step one. I am aware of it.
Yeah, definitely. But I want you to do more than try.
I know.
I want you to like say, hey.
There is no try.
But you know, the funny thing is that you guys know that the funny thing is like, and Tanya, I don't know, I can't. It's starting to get a little fuzzy as to where we stopped talking online and we were talking beforehand. But so like I can spend a week eating protein shakes and bars and one lean and green and stay the same weight, or I can have a normal eating schedule and then have one day where I have a donut and a half, donut 3/4, whatever. And my weight doesn't change either way. It doesn't matter. And I struggle with the fact that somehow I devalue all the good eating I did for that week and a half of like, oh, I was perfect. Why didn't I lose weight? I must have eaten something bad. Going to the next week where I had the one day where I had a donut and a half, I'm like, that's the reason you can't lose weight because you're weak. You know, like, it's so weird, man. It's so messed up. You know, like.
And you know, it's
14. That's all there is to it. I can't accept it.
It's still battling with the breaking the need to the desire to see the weight loss. That takes a while too, you know.
Well, that's a big motivator, right? It's really motivating.
Yeah.
Right. You get the gratification and yeah.
But what does it mean if I'm 210 and I can't see the little muscles in my forearms, or if I'm 214 and I can't? Like, there is a disconnect between that weight is no longer relative in the way I've always lived my whole life about that weight. Like, in the past, that weight always really did represent shit eating or good eating or good exercise or not exercising. Now it's kind of almost flipped on its scale where and we were talking about this again earlier, Kirk, like as I lose, I can tell I'm losing fat because my skin's getting looser in spots.
Right.
I feel fatter because the skin's looser, but I can again feel the little tiny little muscles in my arms. I'm like, that's not obviously me gaining the wrong weight. That's me gaining the right weight, and yet I'm focused on the number. That's stupid. You're like,
that's why you're gonna have to step away from the scale for a little while. That is how I started to step away from the scale because I was getting so frustrated, and it's like, and John would like talk to me like, you know you're eating right, you know you're exercising, you're doing blah blah blah, you know. What is your problem? Everybody fluctuates. He's like, I fluctuate all the time. It doesn't bother me. You know, I'm like, yeah, but for me, like, that is like the holy grail.
It's the beginning of the end. That's the beginning of the end.
It's the beginning of the end. Yeah. So, and then that's when I started. I went down to like 2 days a week weigh in, and then like once every other week. And now I don't even weigh because I know it's gonna irritate me if it doesn't say, or the opposite, if it says something better than what I'm expected, then I'm like, whoa, you know, I can. So it's better to just not see and just live a normal, doing the right thing most of the time life. And
right.
That has kept me sane since then.
I think that's good advice.
Yeah, I'm working on
it. You gotta phase it. You can't go cold turkey. There's no just don't weigh anymore. Like, you gotta go take it slow.
Tanya, you do know you're talking to yourself, and
I know.
If I said that to you, you know exactly how that would go.
That's why, yes, but I am planting the seed. I know how the seed plant works.
Right, that's true.
Because you're gonna lay in bed and think about this, like maybe I can make a plan to step down and only weigh on Mondays and Thursdays.
There will be seed involved, but it won't be that seed. Maybe later after I'm done, then.
Dirty.
You'll be thinking about my hair.
Your hair and seed.
Dirty.
Kirk, you love every second of that. You know it. Oh, shit. You know, so you know, kind of looping back, Kirk, we were talking about, like, yeah, if that didn't make me happy, what's the next thing going to make me happy is getting the loose skin cut off going to make me happy. Okay, now that loose skin's not flopping over the top of my swimsuit band or my workout clothes or my showing through my 50 Shades of Maintenance shirt or whatever. Like, you know, where does the pursuit how do you define the root cause versus all the little symptoms? Like you keep addressing the symptoms, but it's not really causing the root symptom to go away. Like whatever that baggage is. Like people don't see me the way I see me. I don't see me the way other people see me. You know, like the whole genes conversation with the Canadian. You know, it's just weird. And I think that's part of just the maintenance phase. That if you're headed toward maintenance or you're early in the maintenance, that you need to kind of prepare yourself for.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And it's hard to prepare for it. I mean, you can know it's coming, but it's hard to understand the feelings that you're going to feel before you feel them. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
And TJ was a master at being like, dude, I've achieved. This is what I set out to do. I'm good. And he's completely content and centered and happy. And why I think he can walk away and be like, no, goal achieved, check, next. You know, like to where mine and yours and, you know, it's goal achieved, next thing in this goal frame, in this
right.
channel, if you will. TJ just went up to the next channel. He's like, I'm done with that channel. I'm on the next level. I'm still in the same level. You know, I think a lot of us are.
Right.
Well, it's not even a same or up. It just could be different.
Different.
I mean,
up is not probably a good example.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I'm sure there's other things that that now that the one checkbox has been marked off, is feeling just as heavy or as bothersome or cumbersome. I mean, I think we all have lots of checkboxes that we want to work at. At what point though do we just say, hey, it's kind of fun checking these boxes, or kind of fun looking at who's next to you filling out those boxes,
Yeah.
Let me appreciate this box I just checked off.
Yeah.
Well in that for a moment. Like, that's not my mentality. My mentality is done next. Done next. Yeah.
And that's the thing too, physically, when you're working out, like there's only so many things that you can do, goals you can achieve, like unless you completely shift focus from like cardio to weightlifting or running and triathlons, whatever. But like when you just like you're consistently doing like weightlifting, you're gonna get to a point where you could only lift so much, and so moving up to the next level is not gonna be a realistic goal because it's not gonna really mean anything. Because from where you started, like the strides that you can make compared to what you can do now, the little margin gets smaller. So you're not gonna get the same exciting bang for your buck, out of that. So that's when it makes you have to focus on finding other things that make you happy, And I can remember when I was going through my hard time, I remember thinking, okay, what would make me happy? This is my time in my life that I can start to put things in place to fix things. I can make changes, major changes if I wanted to. What would make me happy? And the scariest thing was I didn't know. Like,
right.
I just really did not know the answer to that question. And that really freaked me out when I realized I didn't know. And I thought, I need to do some serious soul searching to figure out what are the things that I'm the happiest when I'm doing. And I had to really step back and look at that. And that took a long time to figure that out. But I think when I couldn't blame my weight loss anymore on those things, I thought that would make me the happiest I could be.
Right.
And then when I realized that it was checked off and I didn't know what else would make me happy, and and John and I struggled because how could I tell him what would make me happy when I have no clue what would make me happy,
Yeah.
So it was a lot of soul searching to get to a point. But those are good questions to ask when you're in the losing phase and in the beginning of the maintenance phase. That, okay, I'm not going to get this thrill anymore from seeing the scale dropping and dropping and dropping. Where am I going to get my thrill?
Yeah. Or what? Yeah, or at least have some ideas, ready and prepared, so that you still have things that you can sort of motivate you, knowing that hey, the scale's not going to move at some point. What are the other things I can look out for that are still going to give me that kind of motivation? And it doesn't even necessarily have to be physical stuff or whatever. It could be going back to school and getting a college degree. It could be, anything, really.
Anything.
I mean, but it's like, I don't know.
But you have to find that thing for yourself, or multiple things. Yeah, it's an individual thing of the things that make you happy. When are you the happiest? When are you the saddest? When are you the most frustrated?
What might make me happy one day may not make me happy the next day.
Amen. Yeah.
Right.
Very true.
Right.
Very true.
It's like.
Are you, Kirk? You might be a woman.
Wait a minute.
I might be.
What does that mean?
I wouldn't mind that.
always men always say that we don't us women don't know what make us happy, and how can y'all make us happy?
I'm gonna come.
Because we change.
I'm gonna come back next 50 Shades episode as Caitlin VSG.
Wow, you look like Jessica Lange. No, okay. I should have gone with that joke, but I think the special and all that was very interesting. I thought that was pretty crazy that he was that open about it and living in front of the camera that whole time. That was pretty crazy.
You know what's really interesting? So this is like, okay, totally bizarre, different, whatever.
I swear we're getting to questions too. There's only one question right now.
Oh, there's questions?
More questions. If there are more questions, ask them now while we tell the story. Go ahead, Kirk. Sorry.
But I get sucked into watching sometimes on YouTube and a lot of times on Netflix and Hulu and Showtime and HBO, whatever, documentaries about people going through the transgender process. And it's so freaking similar to people going through weight loss surgery. Like, well, the intensity and involved in, like, the research and like the surgeons and the online support and the recovery
and the major the changes,
major life changes and all the relationships that it affects and the way you view yourself and accepting yourself and oh my God, it's so crazy. The parallels are wild.
I watched somebody's videos the other day. Somebody who made YouTube videos just the same way we do, who was going through the whole process. I don't know how it came up in my feed, in my YouTube feed, and it got fascinating. And I thought the exact same thing because I'm like, I think the video I watched.
Tanya, you don't know how it got in your feed.
Shut up! Shut up!
She's looking to have a penis put on, is what she's trying to tell us. Which is
a
damn tragedy, but
Kirk would say reattached.
Reattached.
Well played.
But I saw this video, and it was like, I want to say the second or third to last video, and I'm like, oh, let me go back, just like I do with weight loss surgery. Like, let me go back to the first video and see. And I was like, wow, the change is so amazing. But it's so similar. It's so similar.
I was watching one of these documentaries recently, and it was about a town. I think it's a town in Colorado, Phil. That's like it's the world's sex change capital of the world.
Yes, there is. I am aware. I've heard
what's
this.
the name of it?
I'll look it up while you continue your story.
Yeah, because I'll think of it in a second. But it was funny how they had people there that went through the transition, and this was everything. Ultimately, they had
Trinidad,
yeah,
Colorado.
Great documentary if you guys look it up online. And then some of the people, post-op or whatever, felt very realized. They felt finally everything matches, everything that they imagined, whatever. And there were other people who were like, yeah, this isn't exactly, what I thought it was going to be like. It's definitely a step in the right direction, but there was still time for the mind to catch up with the physical transformation. And I'm just like, oh my God, the parallels with weight loss surgery, folks, it's interesting. It's very intriguing.
Very interesting.
Yeah. And then just like, I've always had and not an affinity, but a real respect for people, transgendered people, because how crazy must it feel to be in a body that you feel is completely like not you, like, and then to have to be brave enough to say I'm gonna face this and make changes and all of the shit that goes on with just the world and how mean and cruel people can be. I'll tell you, the transgender people I know and the ones that I've worked with over the years, some of the toughest, most insightful people, most self-aware people that I know. And I think that it's interesting. One of the people that I used to interact with chose her new last name as Two Spirits, kind of tapping into her Native American side. And it's true, the Native American folks, apparently, now I'm not an expert on this, but how to put transgendered individuals on a very much higher spiritual plane because they felt like they had extra special gifts for being able to straddle both the masculine and the feminine. Or tap into those things. So I've always just had a big, huge respect for that. But yeah, it's an interesting thing to kind of why am I so interested in these documentaries? And then making the connection. It's like, hey, this just boils down to people, doing something about something that is they feel needs some major change in order to feel like they realize their full potential.
Well, I think that you make a point, Kirk, is like you did have a body that you didn't identify with in your brain. Like you didn't identify with, I'm not this fat person, I'm not this fat slobby fucking, I shower twice a day, I work out still or whatever, whatever your thing was, to not identify with that body.
Right.
I can totally see that. It makes perfect sense. It's really interesting.
Yeah. So that was interesting. Sorry, took us off on a side.
It was awesome.
So so did you want to get to the one question?
Actually, there are two now. So we're going to do the two, and then we're going to make this a marathon. So.
We're super interesting.
Yeah, well, considering we're on summer hiatus and we have 13 users, that's pretty good. 2 questions. So this question is specific for Tanya, but I'm going to propose it to everybody because I'm not sexist. It's from Tony VSG. And we'll let Tanya answer first because she's a lady, and then we'll let Kirk answer because he's a lady. How did you come up with your goal weight number?
I didn't really have a goal weight number. The lowest weight I had been in as an adult was 185, and so I didn't think that was achievable, but I was like, nah. So I'll throw that out there. And then the lowest weight as a teenager was 164. So I threw that out there. And then the BMI, normal for BMI, was 159. So those were my numbers that I worked towards. But I really just figured I'm going to do what I do and land where I land. And when I hit in the 180 or 185, I think I had called gold because I was like, ugh, I'm tired of chasing the number. I never thought I would get this low. I'm calling gold. This is it. Then I hit the 164 mark, and I was like, this is fantastic. This is beyond wherever I thought I would ever go. But then I still wanted that 159 just to say I was in a normal BMI once. And that was so hard to achieve. And I got there for like a moment in time.
You were, of course, dehydrated. Yeah, you were dehydrated. Hooked up to an IV, wheelchair, your kidneys were failing, your hair was falling out.
Do the gold dance immediately before I gain a pound, and I can't say I'm in a normal pound, but I did. I bounced back up, and I stayed in the 164 range for a long time, and now I'm in the 180. I think that's, I haven't weighed in a couple of months, but every time I've weighed up until then, it was in between 179 and 181. But I just decided, I eat the way I eat, I exercise the way I exercise, and then that's where it was.
I would never look at you and give you that number. No way. 145, maybe on the high side.
No.
I never would put you at that high. So that just goes to show you do have muscle density there. There's no way I would guess you that high. No way.
Yep.
Yep,
180.
How about you, Kirk?
Well, yeah.
I can tell you, so yeah, you went up 11 pounds, 5.5 here, 5.5 there.
Right, that's true. Good point. Wait a second, I'm rethinking my number.
You're not that far off face, too. And I tried to, when the summer came around, I got to try on my bathing suits to make sure they all still fit, and that is where the regain is.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
I'm not hating
John
it.
Doesn't sit there I never look on John's Facebook feed and see a complaint about that. It's so strange.
Never.
That's funny because it's true.
All right, Kirky, so how did you pick your weight?
Well, there was never one picked for me. So I just kind of casually thought, if I lose at least 100 pounds post-op, that means, the money, the surgery was worth it, but I didn't have a specific number. And in fact, I don't remember calling goal if it was based on a number or just based on I'm done, I feel good, then of course I got much lower. I didn't expect to go below 225. I never expected to be in the 100s. That was never a goal ever, and it really kind of still isn't. But what did you say, babe? Oh, Eric teases me because, sometimes, I'm like, I just don't feel like eating. He'll have you eaten? Whatever. And I'm like, I haven't eaten yet. He's like, you're trying to get to that 150, huh? It's like, I'll essentially be dead if I was 150 pounds. It's
right.
Holy shit.
Really?
So, yeah. So he's good at always making sure that I have that extra Pop-Tart or whatever. He actually doesn't care. He's very good about whatever I do. But like, like I can, ouch, I can eat a lot more than I used to. It's just I eat a lot. I eat it over a longer period of time, and I'm okay with that because my big concern, one of my first immediate thoughts about taking a hiatus from alcohol was like, holy shit, though, that I was at least getting a lot of calories at least once a week. You know, it's like I think that was kind of helping me sort of maintain my weight a little bit. So but Katie and I talked about this, and Christina too. You know, it's like I might go back to MyFitnessPal and start tracking my food again, not from a caloric standpoint, but just to make sure that I'm getting enough protein and stuff like that, or you know, just to see, because I might have to incorporate like some like protein shakes or something that is
I was gonna say,
more calories but not crazy. You know, like calories that's not all coming from pure sugar or from you know, something really bad.
Something healthy. Yeah, you want to do it in a healthy way.
Well, yeah, because I would really like to, I mean, I'm sitting here going, I'd really like to build muscle, and I'm doing nothing about it. So I think that's going to be a major change for the summer. I'm definitely going to kayak this summer, which I've never done. Eric's going to be gone for a month, and his bike that's hanging up here on the wall is probably going to be here with me. And I live right next to one of the largest parks in Seattle. So I really want to get back onto a bicycle and become a proficient, at least a casual enthusiast of biking. I just want to be really super active. I want to get out and, like, I've never hiked. I lived in Washington all this time. I've never been on a hike. You know, it just...
See, and you're going to need extra calories to do all that.
Yeah, I'm good with that. You know,
and if you want to build muscle, you're going to need protein and some healthy carbs too.
Well, and I'm going to have to start lifting weights and stuff like that. But
I'll tell you, man, your body weight is a great place to start. I mean, like, you know, I'm sure Eric will tell you this probably better, but like just squats with just your body weight, push-ups, sit-ups. Just basic stuff, you know, like just real basic stuff to start off. Just your body weight is plenty. You don't have to do push-ups from your knees for starters. That's a great way to start. You know, it's like,
I agree. I'll just be completely honest with you guys. With all of us and all of us with our struggles, I still have this complete huge mental wall, and I don't know why I'm hanging on to this so hard. It's a lot of other things. I can just flick the switch, and it's like, just do it. It's a choice. Right?
Yeah.
And this is just like, I'm fighting it. And I don't know if I don't know if I associate control. I don't know what I associate with the aversion. For one thing, I just don't find it fun.
That's huge.
Yeah.
So I might just have to be okay with just not being a really super built person, but maybe just really fit, because I love cardio stuff.
Right.
Well, then, like you said, the bike is great. Kayaking, you actually will build like right behind your neck, the shoulder, right behind your shoulder blades. Those muscles are what you use mainly for paddling. And you'll notice you're getting tired when you start hitting your hands on the edge of the boat and hitting your fingers. So you'll know you're starting to get fatigued, and it's probably time to give it up for the day. But you'll just do that kind of stuff, and it'll create long, lean, dense muscle. I mean, Pete will probably tell you better than I. But
Can you go like this again? Go like this again.
Like this?
Yeah.
My sweaty pit, is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, now you're talking. See, now that's a motivation. Now, that get me.
It's not sexy.
Oh, you don't. Oh, Phil.
Is this sexy for Kirk? Well, there you go. There's I know, it's so hot here. I'm dying.
It's like I'm wishing right now I had smell-o-vision.
Oh my God! No, it's completely clean, so you won't smell it.
Oh, I'd still smell the pheromones.
All right, Phil, how did you pick your goal weight?
My doctor said 250, and I told him he was out of his fucking head. I wasn't going to go through all this for 250. That was ridiculous. I'd gotten to 245 at one point by myself, in college, but for a fleeting moment. And then I was watching. It's funny this question came up because I was watching my 1 year ago video. I was like 215, you know. And I originally said 225. I think I got close to 225, and I was like, no, this is not it. It's not far enough. I just don't feel right yet. 215, I got to, and I was like, well, we're almost at 210. This should go to 210. And Tanya and I were talking about this again before the show. Like that 210, 214 mark, like 210. I achieved 210 for a while. But for like a fleeting second, I really started my year in July of last year, my maintenance year, at 214. I did get down to 202 this year at one point, but I wasn't working out I hadn't worked out for like 10 days. I had been on vacation. I'd been flying. I was in Australia. We were just doing other things. I was not doing my normal
kangaroo.
I ate kangaroo, exactly. But yeah, so I'm back to 214-ish, 212-ish. So I'm thinking that that's just where I need to be. But 210 had some kind of mystical and still does some kind of mystical power to me. 205 sounds even better. But really, 214 with, that's where I'm struggling, right? 214 with veins sticking out in my forehead and forearm muscle. Okay, it's too much. I get this little funny fold of skin here I notice more now when I'm super lean. It's like, okay, enough. I got to stop looking at the scale. So that's how I picked it. I just picked 210 as a benchmark, but I think 215 is actually where I should have stayed. So yeah. All right, let's see if we got any more. This question is specific, again, to one person, but I'll ask it of everybody. There's actually more questions that just came in. Holy cow. All right, Phil, are you still working off your whiteboard? We'll call it a goal list for all of us. Yes and no, I'm not able to really work off my white list board primarily because I'm in the middle of trying to sell a house and I just put an $11,000 roof on. So a lot of my additional spending cash that I normally do my fun little trips out of is gone. And it was such a big chunk that it shocked me into financial weight loss mode, if you will. I'm like, okay, I gotta cut all my expenses. I gotta stop eating shit. I gotta stop spending money on shit. I gotta really knuckle down here and get that money back until I sell the house and can replenish it all the way. That's it. You cut my emergency fund in half, so I'm not particularly emotionally comfortable with spending a lot of money. But on the other side of that coin, I'm emotionally starting to kind of be stressed out by not having an outlet for my stress. So hoping that the kayaking, that the weather's getting better, if I can get back on the water, that I'm hoping that's pretty much free. I have the boat. I just got to put gas in the car to get there, and we'll see how that goes. But still a lot of things on the list, and they're not going anywhere. Those are both short-term and long-term goals that I'll be driving forward till the day I die. So yes.
Right.
Kirk, do you have a goal list that you work off of, or like a bucket list, if you will, or something like that?
No. I'm not a list person. That's what I leave it up to you guys. You guys are the lists and spreadsheet people. I just kind of go along with the ride. So when you're checking something off on the list, I'm like, oh, that sounds kind of fun. Okay.
That's awesome. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Come on out, Kirk. We can find some stuff to do.
Yeah.
Miss Tanya, I know you have a checklist, spreadsheet, and a whiteboard list.
Yeah, of course I have a list.
Color coded.
My list. My list is a little bit leaner this year than it's been in past years, but I'm definitely achieving all the things on my list. Like my list this year was more focused on seeing people, getting out and traveling more, which I've been taking some shit over lately. That you're home. Like I want to say jealous, but so that's kind of been my focus more this year than physical things. But I do have a physical thing on my list, but I'm not. Well, yeah, but I'm not gonna throw it out there. It's kind of a
why you're being non-committal.
I'm committed to myself, and I know I'm gonna do it. But
well, then you should. But if you put it out here, you'll have to do it.
Right. People will be asking me about it, and so, but I have other little things too, for the summer and things. I have, I want to go shoot a gun. That's one of my things.
Come here. Come to me. I can solve that problem.
Wait, this is so funny. I just thought the two things that came to mind are two things that are both kind of relate to you, to Phil and to Kirk. Shooting a gun, I relate that to Phil, and getting a massage. That's another thing I have on my list for the summer because I've never had a massage.
Because if you shoot guns, TJ said this, I'm going to tell you, if you shoot guns, you will get turned on in a way that you've never been turned on before. I'm going to warn you now. This happens to all the women I take shooting. I know what it is. It's not like an instant physical, I'm turned on. There will be something powerful about it that will make you just be crazy. I'm telling you. Be warned.
Did you hear that, Phil? Exactly how many women do you take shooting?
A lot of my friends have me take them and their wives, and they always report back that they want to take them shooting again. So there's that.
Well, I need to schedule this soon.
Just come on out. A reason to go shooting? Sounds great to me.
Oh my gosh. That's funny. Well, maybe the next unofficial trip needs to be to Colorado.
I know, right?
You'll have to pass the safety test, of course, first. But yes, we will train you up. But there's no room for mistakes. So if I see you make a mistake, I will yell at you to reinforce the fact that you could accidentally kill somebody. It's not that I don't like you. It's that I'm trying not that you get hurt. That's all. So,
right.
Or hurt
Well,
somebody
it's probably a good start that at least you can count on me. If I were to do that over the summer, I would be sober. So
yes, it's a good time. Yes, we don't shoot drunk ever. No alcohol involved ever.
But it sounds like we could do that there. We could do zip lining there. It sounds like there's
Zip-lining,
kayaking
shooting.
there.
We can do river rafting. We can do kayaking. We can do hiking. We can do ATVs. If it's in the winter, we can do snowmobiling. We can do skiing. There's plenty to do. So you guys just
How big is your yard?
pretty good size. I mean, the current yard. The next yard's not going to be very big, but the current one's pretty good. So.
We could pitch our tents.
Oh, you guys! I have 2,000 square feet empty downstairs. We have plenty of space to sleep, people. No
Sometimes
problem.
it's fun sleeping outside though, under the stars.
Oh well, we can definitely make that happen. That's fine.
This will be the next NSV retreat.
It's a select invite only. If you show up, you'll be seeing the other end of the gun. If you show up uninvited, it won't be the sights you see. It'll be the barrel. So. See if we have any more questions here. Yes. All right. Kylie asks, how do you guys drop the ball on high protein once you got to goal? When you gain, do you then go back to protein? Do you feel like it's a yo-yo diet? I'm going to start with Tanya.
I've always stayed with high protein. I never veered away from that. So I've always kept high protein. My carbs will go up and down, depending on what I'm eating in one particular day. But my protein is always high. I never stepped away from it. So.
Senor Kirk.
Yeah, for me, the protein it's always stayed the same. Where I've noticed any kind of fluctuation is in the usually involves carbs. So it'll be like when I've incorporated maybe more tortillas into my daily or weekly routine, or more bread-like things, or pastas or rice, or those kinds. Or tortilla chips.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've cut those out for a while now, but the fluctuations I can definitely attribute to incorporating bad carbs into my diet, and not just for like a day, but it's like when it's consistent.
Right.
The only time I'll see a fluctuation and an increase is if I go 4 or 5 days where I consistently have had ice cream or tortilla chips, or just regular tortillas, or things that I just wouldn't normally eat. If I eat those on a routine basis, then I'll notice an increase. If I eat them occasionally, there's not an increase. In fact, I think it helps my metabolism to occasionally mix it up.
I agree. Yeah.
I'm going to say 100% of what Kirk said. I do protein every day, about 90 to 100, but I work out 5 days a week, and I have had to mix in, and this is mainly on Pete's recommendation, I have had to mix in some healthier carbs to get a little bit better performance out of the gate. So like on a day where I know I'm going to go really heavy in cardio, or I'm going to lift really heavy, I will have a banana with some almond butter on it, so I get all the protein and the fats from the almond butter, but I still get the nice carbs from the fruit, from the banana, and of course the potassium, which never hurts. But I do notice that when I do eat that three times a week, even the healthy ones, I will then want to snack on more bad carby foods, and I'm hungrier because I'm working out regularly.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's a balancing act. It takes a certain amount of discipline, but to Kirk's point, if it's once in a while, it's not too bad. Like I said, a donut and a half on a Saturday over a week, that's 7 days. One day I had a donut and a half. I didn't gain 10 pounds from that. That doesn't happen. It just never happens. That's not an excuse though to then go do it every other day or every third day. It's once in a while thing. So it's definitely a struggle. It's still a struggle.
I think it takes a lot. Yesterday I had my protein, or my Greek yogurt for breakfast, and for lunch I had my children's bean and cheese burrito. And usually, because I like it. It's a perfect size. It's a lot of protein. It gives me my Mexican food fix kind of thing. But normally, like after having that, I'd probably have something. Usually, want something lighter for dinner. But yesterday, like the only thing I had to make was like a pasta dish, but it was like with a lot of really good ground turkey. So I made a really, really meaty sauce, and we had that for dinner. And I'm like, oh, this is great. And then after dinner, like an hour later or so, Eric was having a drumstick, and I was like, an ice cream drumstick. I'm like, oh, that sounds good. It's like 90 degrees in the house. And I was like, well, do I really want the drumstick, or do I just really feel like eating something sweet? Because I said, if I really just feel like eating something sweet, I'll just have another Greek yogurt, and that way I'm getting more protein. So
Right.
I did that. So I had my Greek yogurt, and that was great. And then like a few hours later, I was like, so I ate like around 5:30 dinner, and now we're talking like 10:30 at night. I'm already getting hungry again, right? Or I feel like I need to eat. And I'm still
Yeah.
awake because I don't usually go to bed before midnight. And I'm like, oh, what do I want? So I'm like, oh, I don't know what sounds good. So I go into the refrigerator, and of course, I make myself like a ham sandwich with cream cheese on a bagel.
Wow, you hit all of the calories right there.
Right? So I'm like, okay, that's it for the night. You're gonna be done after this. Oh hell no. So
That's because it spiked your sugar levels in your blood, and I'm like, oh, I want more.
Yeah.
I took my my usual regimen of vitamins and my Ambien, fell asleep watching TV. So this is the problem of not going to bed when you should just go to bed. So I fell
Right.
asleep watching TV. I wake up with the TV on, and I'm like, oh, I should probably go to bed. Oh, a Pop-Tart sounds really good right now. So while I was asleep, because I didn't remember doing it until this morning, I had raspberry Pop-Tart. Not just one, but two, because they come two in a pack.
Right. And you wouldn't want one to be lonely all
No.
by itself,
So-
missing its
We
friend.
don't want it to dry out. The package is
Yeah.
open. I mean,
So, but
It's just messy to leave it like that.
So here's the thing. So this happens to me frequently, right? And I don't gain weight because you know what I do the next morning? I go right back on track, and I have, my breakfast is 80 to 100 calories and a ton of protein. My lunch is maybe 200, 250 calories with a ton of protein. So if I have an occasional night where I have a couple things incorporated that I wouldn't normally have, it doesn't affect my weight at all. Now, if I do that
Right.
4 or 5 nights in a row, I'm doing it intentionally, and I will notice a difference in the scale. And
Yeah.
it is what it is. And then I'm like, oh, well, do I feel good? Yeah, I feel pretty good. In fact, I kind of actually like the way I look a little bit better once I'm above the 200, the 205. To me, I look healthier. But I don't want to. I don't want to even go there. I don't want to get into those habits of just eating crap, or eating
Right.
bad stuff. So I want to stay in the habit of just eating good stuff. So what I would like to do is, instead of reaching for those Pop-Tarts or a ham and cream cheese sandwich on a bagel, is maybe just, if I have to absolutely stick something in my mouth, have it.
oh, it's so easy. Keep going.
It should be something that's full of protein
Right, exactly.
and low in carbs and low in calories. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's correct to your point. That late night, that's my thing. It's like I just had to finally say, okay, nothing after this time at night. I don't care how hungry I am, unless I'm just like I can't fall asleep. I'm so hungry. Then I'll have a single pickle, like a little pickle, just to get
I've
that
done
hunger.
that. Yeah.
Go to sleep.
Yeah.
Because it's low in calories. They're 25 calories. They're sweet. The sweet pickles with the they have them here at the store. They're with the Splenda even, so they're not even really sugar. Go to sleep. I'm good. It's just got to get to sleep before that hunger comes back. Man,
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah. Yeah, I have the same thing with that nighttime eating. Sometimes I'll just go stand in the pantry and just look. I'm like, there's nothing in here that I should eat. And then I'll walk away. And then I'll come back and I'll look. And my go-to usually when I have that is like a handful of nuts, because I really just want something to munch, or I'll chew gum. I'm telling you, the chewing gum thing is, because it's really just nervous energy for me, I think.
Yeah.
And boredom. And I need to just go to bed.
Yeah,
But
it is. I would say that's a big. Maybe we should talk about that sometime.
lack of sleep.
Strategies of fighting boredom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Steve. Anything else? I think there's one or just to make sure I have no more of them. A couple more, I think I see. Phil, because of the workout, do you have a body fat percentage goal? I did, but I'm starting not to trust the tool by which that's measured, which is kind of how we kind of started this show. Is like I just don't trust the metrics of the things I've been chasing anymore. I don't trust the scale because it doesn't tell me what my body comp is. I don't really trust the body comp machines that you use in your day-to-day or even in your doctor's office. You really need to do like a water submersion test if you really want to know what your body comp is. And
Right.
I'm not doing that every 4 weeks. It would be ridiculously expensive, and I'd have to drive to Denver or something to do it, I'm sure. So that's where I'm kind of reeling. So no, I don't. Do you guys do the body comp or body fat percentage goals or anything like that?
No.
What do you think?
I'm going to say no, but I was just being polite. So. Right on. All right, see, I'm going to just take one last pass here, guys, and then we're going to call it.
So did you guys talk about Tanya's birthday earlier?
No, just talked about how fabulous that dark hair is. That was about it.
Did you have a happy birthday?
I did have a happy birthday. It was very nice, very quiet. Nothing, we just went out to dinner with the family.
Yeah,
and
I saw that.
got so many wonderful messages on Facebook. Everybody's so sweet. And, oh, wait, Kirk, the video. The video, my dad and I watched it twice. That was hilarious. Oh, my God. But no, I had a very nice birthday.
Good. Well, you deserved it.
You did, yes.
Thank you.
This will be the last question. I'm just going to call it right now. So this is Zen Maiden 1. She says, when you think about the feeling that you got to goal, but then realize that's all there is, or the sense of dissatisfaction with other things in your lives, why do you think we have? Oh, sorry, man, this is not scrolling well. Why do you think that experience? Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Let me try this all over again. Why do you think we have that experience mentally? Is it meant to be that? Is it meant to be that we are ever satisfied? So I'm going to just start off with that because I think we kind of touched on this already. Like just you sometimes finish a goal and you're just like next. I mean that's my personality. I'm sure that's Tanya's personality.
Yep.
Kirk's got a little bit better handle on that. But you think of the story of Faust, right? And the whole go look this up. I think I've talked about this before, but it's human nature to never completely be satisfied with what you have. You're always chasing what you want. I think there's an element to that, but I think there's some benefit in learning to bathe yourself in what you have and really try to take a moment to at least appreciate what you've achieved. So I don't know if it's human condition or just the way we're wired. I know it's probably a little both for me. So, Tanya.
Yeah, I think I appreciated when I hit goal. I appreciated that, and I was good for a while because I think I was still pushing myself with fitness goals. It was when that, not that I felt like I had accomplished everything. I still don't feel like I have, but I don't know. I don't think you should be completely satisfied at any given time. I mean, you should always have something that you're working towards, right? I mean, I think I'm more satisfied with myself now than I ever have been, but I don't know. I think if you get completely satisfied, then you stop pushing yourself to try new things and do new things. So I don't know.
Kirk?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I sometimes sit down and have very clear moments where I feel very happy, very self-realized, very, like I'm very content with the way things are and the way things are going. And then there's other times where it feels like the sky is falling. So, I don't know. I don't know if it's. I don't think it's just a weight loss surgery thing. I think it's just part of the human condition.
Yeah.
And as long as what I'd like to work towards is maybe not necessarily that goal of happiness, but maybe just the goal of understanding that it really is all about the journey and not the destination.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah. I think that's really where it is.
Yeah.
Anytime we can end it on the Constitution, I'm happy. So, all right. Well, anything else from you two before we go?
No, I guess we'll be back sometime in July. We haven't picked out a date yet, but sometime in July.
Unless there's a burning issue that comes up or a major weight loss surgery summer scandal.
Exactly.
That we're not involved in, because
Especially if we're not involved in it. Jesus.
We're totally foreign to those.
Like, three of us aren't involved, it must be really good. I mean, if not one of us got caught up in it, it must be epic. So,
Yeah.
It ain't real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably made up at that point.
We're throwing it out to the community to take that torch or to take the baton this summer, right? So,
Yes.
Right.
Right.
Come on,
yeah.
I want some
Leave us
entertainment.
alone.
I want some reality YouTube TV, folks. Come on. I need a few of you ladies leaving your husbands, and I need come on. I need to be entertained here.
Some spicy summer YouTube.
That's right.
Awesome.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, it was so good to see you guys.
Yeah, you too.
You too.
Yeah.
I miss y'all.
Sorry we've all been so crazy and busy and not in good ways, unfortunately. But hopefully that'll change here in the next 30 days, and we'll have more fun stuff to talk about in a month. But until then, don't define your world in black and white, because there's so much hiding amongst the gray.
Yay, yes.
Yay.